And we're live. Hello, Matt.
Hey, Jeremy.
Oh, and your sound is working. So it'll be a conversation. Instead of one person stuck in a box silently emoting. Nice.
I'm a terrible mime, so that's good.
So, how was your holiday? Any gaming acquisitions or any thoughts about stuff we're working on or anything like that?
No.
Yeah. Taking
I
time
think
off.
I've hit that age where you don't get much Christmas anymore.
Right. Yeah, you buy it yourself. Yeah.
My wife and I literally bought ourselves a new TV
Oh, cool.
stand.
A stand. All right. Nice.
And I got a cool F1 Lego I haven't put together for my son. But no game stuff, really.
Yeah.
No. I've been reading that Black Sword hack and envisioning running that. That's kind of fun.
Oh, nice.
But I'm trying not to think about it too much because we still got to finish our Deathmatch Island.
Right. Yeah, that's right. We got one more session. Right? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. Nice. And thanks again for helping me get through those 12 games of Christmas, giving up your Christmas Eve. I can picture you covered in eggnog and cookie crumbs, and you dragged yourself to the webcam. We pulled it off.
Yeah. I think I need to adopt or something because, like, once you're an empty nester, like Christmas is no fun.
Right. Yeah, that's right. Throughout the year, you've you've purchased everything for yourself that you would have wanted for Christmas. So there's no wanting. Yeah.
Oh, and then the one thing. I usually get my wife something, and she'll usually tell me she wants something too. And the one thing she said she wanted that I ordered hasn't even shipped yet. So.
Oh wow!
Christmas no meaning.
Yeah, I've had a couple of those things too. Something I ordered from the U.S. weeks ago. It's like somewhere lost in limbo, probably crushed under somebody else's Christmas present. Yeah. Brutal.
What'd you guys do?
Oh yeah, pretty low key. We get packages from American relatives. So my daughter in Japan has kind of an American Christmas. Like we open everything Christmas morning, because here the holiday is actually Christmas Eve. Like Christmas Day has no meaning; it's just another work day. So if it falls on a weekday, it's a work day. So nothing special about it. But yeah, we did the stuff in the morning, and so So she's gone from Legos and video games into clothes and cosmetics. So yeah, she's made the turn to the dark side. As far as teenage girls. But it's fun. It's fun that we can have kind of the dual experience because now we have New Year's. And that's the family holiday here. So
Miguel says there's an echo in the stream.
Oh, thank you, Miguel. What am I duplicating? Oh, damn. Of course I'm echoing again. Yeah, the camera was on too. Yeah, so I've got a stereo microphone on the video camera and a microphone on the and a microphone in front of my face, both duplicating. I must have sounded very magical and dreamlike then for a while. Thanks for catching that. Yeah, Abyss had to when I switched over after the 12 games of Christmas. Yeah, when I switched over to just me, I did the exact same thing. I turned the camera on and was picking up double audio. All right. So it's not an effect box. It's just two microphones. But yeah. So what a year! It's been a strange. Lots of stuff we talked about throughout the year, and it's funny looking back at some of our titles for the previous live streams. We talked about stuff the beginning of last year that's just happening now. It's pretty amazing how slow a lot of this stuff moves. But one thing that was impressive is Free League, like, crowdfunded and fulfilled the Walking Dead universe like within a year. So they've got this Kickstarter thing down. Yeah.
They're pros now.
Yeah. They really they're not going to disappoint. They're not going to drag stuff on. They got a license to fulfill, and they're gonna get that game to you.
Yeah, a lot of stuff's coming in now, right? Because you got the Blade Runner that finally happened. And when is that Alien one?
Oh yeah. I think that's still pre-order, right?
But can you get the PDFs for it? Right
I think you get the PDFs right away, but the colony stuff. Yes.
And Eric, what's his name? Free League guy, Eric Grandstrom.
Mm-hmm.
He's been talking on Facebook on the Forbidden Lands group about his work on the Alderland expansion.
Ooh, that's cool.
So I think maybe next year they'll announce that one.
Oh wow, that's great. Wow, they're producing a lot of content. It's great that all their games are still getting supported. You know, we've got kind of another flavor of Tales from the Loop with this Electric State thing going on, the game coming out. So yeah, there's still the games that they started, there's nothing that just is left hanging. That was a real frustrating part of like Fantasy Flight when they were doing their own RPGs or whatever. You just have lines that would just cut off and just like, yeah, we lost the license, it's done, whatever.
Yep.
So hopefully Free League won't go through any of that. They've got nice terms and everything, and nobody else is going to try to take something away from them. And I wonder where they're going to go next, because they've got some pretty good, like Alien and Blade Runner are great IPs, and The Walking Dead is okay. I don't think anybody involved in The Walking Dead except the AMC producers are happy. Like everybody else has a sour taste in their mouth. The actors and the original showrunner and the comic book creator, everybody's like, oof, that was a mistake. But I wonder what's like, what brand manager is going to walk up to them at the next Gen Con or whatever and say, hey, would you guys be interested in I don't know, but we'll see. And it's good. It's just good that they're still supporting their original IPs. That's the good thing. That hasn't taken them away.
So you've got, I haven't heard any talk about Coriolis or Mutant, but
yeah, that's true. Well, they've got
it's still pretty popular, and Dragonbane blew up. Like
yeah,
I see talk about Dragonbane on threads all the time.
That's good. Yeah, and they specifically produced a license, for like modules or adventures for Dragonbane and stuff. So yeah, they were thinking ahead on that. That's good.
Yeah, because Andreas from Sweden Rolls, he kickstarted a campaign world for it.
Oh yeah,
I guess it did. I guess it did okay, and I listened to his actual play, which he did for Dragonbane, that he set in his campaign world. Mm-hmm. It's interesting. It feels a little more political than I envisioned Dragonbane being, but it's cool.
Interesting, yeah. Nice, yeah. I'm looking forward to whatever they're getting into, and just like because one of the games you missed of the last two on the 12 games was the One Ring. So I looked through the Runes of the Lost Realm kind of adventure site book, and just going through one of the, and this is just their regular quality standard edition book. The quality is so nice. The paper they use, the choices, the art direction for the book is so nice. So just looking through one of those books feels nice. It's a very it puts you in that world, and it has a nice feel to it. So yeah, I can't wait to see more of their stuff. Yeah. Oh, and we got a thanks for the shout out for the Neon Lords of the Toxic Wasteland.
Oh,
They caught that we mentioned their game, and they said they wanted me to mention that the books are all back in stock. So they did sell out on Goodman Games, but they're back in stock. So if you want your copy of that crazy edition, it's available. So yeah,
hey,
that's
Orcus
nice.
here.
Orcus, hey, nice.
We just need that other reprobate, and we'll be all set.
Oh, that's right. Or I don't know. I think Miguel is trying to confirm that Abyss and Orcus are the same person.
Yeah, but wasn't Abyss trying to say that Miguel and Orcus were the same?
Yes. It's very suspicious.
I think this is one person with a couple burner accounts is what's going on here.
That's right. We've got one viewer, but they got a lot of sock accounts. That's how we like it. Yeah. So anybody watching, just log in as many times as possible. That's argue with yourself in the chat. It's all good. It's all good. Oh man. I was taking a look at they as an update, they posted a page, and I think they put several on the website for the I can't remember the name of it now. The MCDM Matt Colville, yeah, the whatever that game is going to be called, and they posted just the 2-page spread on humans. You know, the species or folk or kin, whatever they're calling it, for humans. And it's this professor, this high elf professor, who calls himself, I am a high elf, in his actual lecture, which is weird. And then goes on about, his opinion about humans. And it was really unreadable and really throwing in a lot of these like events that happen in this setting, when the Great Fire and this and Ajax and, trying to name drop as much stuff. It was really unreadable. And yeah, so I don't know. Star Trek, the Modifius 2D20 Star Trek did a bit of that where there was like correspondence and, different little kind of scrapbook type things to give you a flavor for the, Star Trek setting and who hates who and who, how the government works, how Starfleet works. But this was way too much. And it was like, they did that, and then there's just a dry mechanical section following it. So if you play a human, you get this, and this, and you get +2 this, and whatever. And I just I didn't like it at all. It was between the kind of real generic art and then that weird switch to a lecture by an elf professor that just wasn't written very well. It didn't have a lot of like personality to it. Yeah.
I've seen that. That's a pretty popular like not mechanic, but like thing to do in write something about a kin or a culture or a monster, even from the point of view of someone who would be studying them.
Right. Yeah. I think because
you have to write it well, and like I love pleasure reading RPG rule books. Like I will buy them just to read them. But when they do that, when they put like extended fiction in that's really long, I just skip it.
Right.
Skip it.
Yeah, because it has to be well written. You can't just have somebody do any sort of thing just for the flavor. If you treat it just like the fluff text on a magic card or whatever, where they just or I guess it's flavor text, where they just have some quote or some line or something. Yeah, it's got to really be worth putting in there, and I don't think a lot of games do that. But I didn't like that at all. And then the other section for like Revenant or something that I read, it was just a little piece of fiction before the the stats and the technical stuff. So yeah, I don't know. It's odd. Yeah, what was the there was a game that did that, how the other kin or how the other races see how they see each other. Yeah.
But it was brief, it wasn't a multi-page thing. It was like a couple paragraphs, maybe, if even that. And I want to see some of the old Warhammer fantasy roleplay stuff. Did that once in a while too.
I think that gives good context. Yeah. This I don't know. It just turned me off how it was done. I don't know. There was something odd about it, and I think the whole book is going to kind of have that tone. And then there was a little breakout box of designers' notes, and the comments on this post, everybody was saying, don't do this, because the whole thing in the designer's notes is in our game, like it's just the explanation of why this isn't 5e. That's all it was. It's just like we do this and we don't do this, and this is how we do it. So that's weird. Yeah, just the designer notes are what we didn't do to make ourselves different. Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's like I mentioned. I don't know if it was last episode or the one before, but when I saw their Kickstarter page, there was a section on there about, basically saying if you're into old school dungeon delving and gritty role play, this isn't your game, and it's just like, and just the way they worded it was clumsy. It felt like a, like a piss off normies or something. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah. So that whole campaign is not been impressing, but they're cleaning up. They got a fan base. Yeah, they're gonna.
Oh, and he's well respected, and he's put out some cool stuff, but it's just not my jam.
Yeah. It's an odd choice for what they did, but they know their audience. I mean, obviously they've been writing stuff for a specific audience, and they have a Discord and kind of a group that's socializing around this, so they kind of are figuring out those tastes. So. Yeah, I don't want to hear long lectures from elf professors. And it just had like a creepy Harry Potter kind of feel. It's just like, come on, this is not the tone you should be going for. Yeah.
Gotta catch that Gen Z audience.
Yeah, right. Yeah, they've done that. I mean, because including that magic school setting in 5e from Magic the Gathering, the Strixhaven, they keep doing that. It's like, would you like to have a final exam on Magic? Would you like to go to a prom with an elf? And you're like, stop it. That really is depressing, though. I think I'm lucky both my kids kind of dodged the Harry Potter bullet. Like, one was like, had much better taste by the time that stuff came out, and the other one is just like, I'm not reading that stuff. But so that's good. Because if that's your touchstone for like fantasy, that's really odd. Private school and chocolate frogs and all that.
Yeah, well, my son read the Harry Potter books when he was young, which I didn't mind because it, when you see your kid like reading on their own, it's like, all right. But he was not anything like Harry Potter level got balanced with like Lord of the Rings and Conan and 13th Warrior, and he was getting a well-rounded fantasy exposure.
Nice, you did your job well. Yes, that's good. Yeah, it's brutal, but but for a big part of that generation, they that's their original fantasy setting. Odd. All right. Yeah, so this will be kind of loose this week. I thought we would just talk about whatever kind of we remember, whatever things came up. We'll look at a couple of the headlines from the previous episodes and remember just like 1 year ago, already January, things were getting stupid, because that was the OGL. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So it was very crazy. And then the licenses, then it was just that bombardment of everyone doing their license and distancing themselves basically from 5e with the expectation that WotC was going to try it again. All right, well, should we do this?
Yeah,
cool. Well, it's good to see you guys in the chat. Miguel and Orcus, thank you so much for hanging out. Orcus is saying, are you saying that something 2 years out may not be complete or done well? Yes, that's true. Yeah, the writing definitely needs another pass. Yeah, please tighten up some of that writing. Nice. Yes, the acclaim. Miguel's talking about the acclaimed expansion with the homecoming dance. All Strixhaven was missing, or maybe it had it and I didn't know. All Strixhaven was missing is some kind of sport, some kind of magical sport that was played, at that school. An intramural magic sport. Yeah. Brutal. All right. Well, let's do this. Welcome to the weekly. I'm Jeremy.
I'm Matt.
Hey, Matt.
Hello.
It's our episode 223. So basically, this is going to be looking back at 2023 and the year that was and the mess that it was. So this week on the weekly, first we're going to talk about the idea of the Neverending edition of D&D. There was an interesting article about how big a mistake that could be, and then we'll just look in review at overall tabletop in 2023 and our final Brinkwatch, and we'll dive in a little bit into the into the many careers of Kyle Brink and give him a send off. I think we aimed a little low. I think we need a bigger target. We need to go up the food chain a little bit at WotC if we're going to get any results. So
we're going with that Hasbro guy.
Yeah, we should. We should. All right. So let's start with that. An interesting discussion about so next year in 2024, a never-ending Dungeons and Dragons edition is a major problem. So this is Derek Garcia, and I forget the website. It's one of those websites that's it doesn't typically cover tabletop, but I thought this was an interesting approach, and it just basically talks about. And I think it's obvious from the people that they're hiring, the people running the show over there, they're going to turn the rule set into software, basically. And it's going to constantly be patched and updated. And maybe a younger generation is used to this. And it's something that once everything is digital, you can get away with a lot more. But imagine playing in a campaign that spans several months, several years, and through the course of that campaign, like the rule system has completely changed, like how things are done in the same system. You haven't, abandoned something for a different mechanic or anything. You're stuck with this weird updating, and I guess the house rules now are just going to be roll back the version. Well, they say play it this way, but now we're gonna stay with the previous version. It's going to get really weird. Yeah, so I don't think that's a great idea, like perpetually evolving a single edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, so the article said that it lacks clarity and it raises concerns about the future of the game. So it fails to recognize the social nature of the hobby, the need for clear rules, and making it a perpetual edition may make it unplayable for most game groups eventually, as it. And they kind of, that's the problem when you're doing a thing with a monthly subscription, is you have to give some sort of value for that money. So they'll make changes just to make changes, or they'll add content that's not even quality content just because they want to show something. That money you paid, this is what you got for it. And that's a typical thing, Photoshop and Adobe is kind of doing that. They're making weird changes to their software just so people have a job and people feel like, oh, we're doing something. But that all came about, I think, at the end of this thinking came about from, remember the quote from the beginning of last year, the customers or the players, the players are under monetized here at Wizards of the Coast. So let's get them thoroughly monetized. Yeah, so not good.
Yeah, could you imagine playing in a long-standing D&D campaign, and then your GM convinces you to all go behind the walled garden to play online, and you play for a while, and he's cool, and then you log in, and your barbarian's been nerfed or something, and you're like, what the hell? That's so weird. It's a meshing of video game life and tabletop RPGs that nobody really wants. And I don't get it. And as far as the changing stuff, speaking as someone who worked for a very large publicly held company for a very long time, world's largest drug dealer, but we won't get to that right now. Yeah, the executives will literally just change shit to keep their job viable.
Mm-hmm.
Like they will just 180 and change a thing just because now they get to manage the change and
Yeah.
it makes it look like they're doing something.
Yeah, so I think they're definitely going to fall victim to this. And the only thing that aside from like earning that subscription from the subscriber base, the only other thing that those tweaks would be are kind of balance issues, and so that would lead you to think that the only reason you would do that is because you're trying to come up with some sort of competitive version of D&D. That's the only reason you'd want a balanced rule system, is so that everyone would be playing it and you could somehow make it an e-sport or whatever. Because they had talked about that. I don't think it was this year, but in previous years, like they were contemplating, can D&D be played on ESPN4? Can we make this a team sport? So that suggests that with tweaking the rule set for no reason, and power balancing, like you're saying, like nerfing your barbarian. It's like, yeah, that would only be in competitive. The article, interestingly, also talked about kind of the evolution of D&D rules, and talking about the move from 3.0 to 3.5, which was just 3 years after the launch, and we're coming up on 10 years, after the launch of 5th edition. And they were, initially claiming that 3.5 was completely backwards compatible with 3.0, but it ended up it's not that practical, and people just kind of gave up, converting things and making it work, and it was a bit inconsistent. And then the 4.0 rules edition had a mid edition revision with D&D Essentials, and so it had fewer changes than 3.0 to 3.5, but it was just they kind of had to rebalance things and try to make people happy mid edition. So that's
How long was 4th edition even a thing?
I feel like long.
I feel like it got wiped out pretty fast.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. Let me see. I think they did. They very quickly said, let's 2008 to 2013. Yeah.
Oh, it was longer than I thought then.
The Paizo years, though, yeah, they that's when Paizo took 50% of that market share from them. Yeah.
Whenever I did play D&D in that period, it was like 3 and 3.5.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't play 4th edition until this year.
Oh wow! Wow!
And I hated it.
Yeah,
I hated it. It was a true test of friendship. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah, straining the bonds.
I am literally only doing this because you people are my friends.
Nice. Yeah, that's funny. And did they do it because they had liked the system and played it when it was originally out, or they just had never tried it, so they wanted to try it and you were the guinea pigs?
No, the guy that ran it, he's really more of a board game guy than an RPG player, and for some reason he decided he wanted to run a game. And he ran half a scenario of the One Ring, realized it wasn't for him, and then pivoted to 4th edition. And I think he was having fun with that because that's basically a board game. It's basically a complicated board game.
Right. Oh, interesting. That's a funny pivot. And how would you like 4E is nobody's saying anything good about it. It's not easy. It's not very accessible. I mean, I guess, the PDFs are on DriveThru, and mostly, I think, about all the way back to even 2E, most of that stuff is still in print. But that's that's really funny. Funny choice. Yeah, so it's a really odd thing that we're going to be experiencing, and they're going to have to give up. They're either going to have to give this some sort of name that people can understand, that it's going to be this never-ending, constantly updated single edition or something, because people want to call it 5.5 or 6.0, or they are still sticking to that one D&D name, but they're going to have to get better with the branding, I think.
Ooh, they're going to call it something stupid, aren't they?
Yeah, they might.
It's going to be like Dungeons and Dragons X.
Right. Oh, there you go. Yeah, they'll just change it to X. X can stand for any edition forever and all in perpetuity. Yeah, perpetuity. Yeah, so it'll be interesting because just like campaigns fall apart and people just kind of like walk away from games or just like you never get together, that happening digitally is going to be really weird. All these like weird remnants of abandoned games just floating around on their their VTT. Yeah, it's odd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like this line in the article that says, so this one D&D idea presumes that the basic structure of the 5e rules is the ideal incarnation of Dungeons and Dragons central gameplay concepts. And it is just not that at all. So yeah, going in there and I guess kind of considering it's done. Like the rule set is done. It's as good as it's going to be. So let's just polish it with all this their new playtesting.
Do you think they even believe that? Like, I feel like they probably don't even really believe that. They're just focused on getting it online and doing their whole little thing with the walled garden.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they really believe that it's done.
Right. And they don't want to. They just don't want to fracture the player base. You know, they just don't want to have people that move forward and people that stay behind. So let's just put them all behind this digital subscription. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, so that's odd, and the only thing they have to offer is just more subclasses, more spells. More, it's just like okay, that's what you're gonna get. Like that's what you're gonna get for your subscription. This week we unlocked the new, I don't know, bookworm subclass for your wizard. Yeah, it's not great. So yeah, I thought that was an interesting take, and in talking about how the releases. That they did this year did really nothing to reinforce the fact that these settings and everything is better played in 5e. Like I don't think nobody thinks that. But yes, so we will see. And I had an interesting conversation with Felix, someone that I played a lot of Netrunner and met in Japan, and he was saying that he really thinks this change might. It might be good for them, and maybe this is what they expect, but it's going to create kind of a new game. It's going to create like a new genre. So it's not going to be D&D, and it's not going to anybody that is satisfied by the socializing or the imagination or creativity of roleplay is not going to be lured into this, and people that want a very video game experience aren't going to be lured into this. It's going to be its own thing. So you're going to be. When people ask you what you do this weird thing online in this, it's like playing Fortnite or something, it's going to have a very distinct identity, and it's not really going to be D&D anymore. It's going to be this other thing that you can do from this company that makes D&D. So I thought that was an interesting take because, I don't think they have the branding and the messaging down very clearly. And they're just trying to move everybody that's bought one of these books in the past 10 years into this thing, trying to monetize them, get them to pay. And I don't think it's going to work. It's going to they are going to fracture their player base in a way maybe they didn't expect, because they're making a style of play that doesn't satisfy maybe a majority of the players, is like going to be weird and incomplete and frustrating and maybe too expensive. And not only in the like subscription costs, but like, maybe the PC that you need or, whatever you would need to actually, in a satisfying way, interact with this platform. So yeah, I thought that would be interesting if they really do like create some other thing and nobody thinks it's D&D anymore, so they can just change the name.
or it'll just be D&D, and we'll never spell it out.
Yeah, nobody knows what it means. It doesn't stand for anything anymore. Just those three letters. Yeah, I play D&D.
I was thinking like game stores, like brick and mortar game stores. I mean, they've always had problems, but they're in big trouble now because Games Workshop is abandoning them, right? Wizards is screwing up Magic something fierce, like they're destroying the tournament structure.
Mm-hmm.
And now D&D maybe, it'll go online or just die or both. and like, if you walk, like in my neighborhood, if you go into a game store, the first things you see are the D&D and the Magic, right? And that's everywhere. They'll have other stuff if it's a decent game store, but their bread and butter is the Magic the Gathering primarily, followed by the Dungeons and Dragons. And if those two things go poof, oh my God, they're screwed.
Yeah. No, that's really true. And I think a lot of these stores would love to sell better games and promote better. But yeah, that's where the money is, so they have to stick to that. Yeah, like you said, they're bread and butter. So yeah, I think we're going to see, just like comic book stores are taking big hits. I think the hobby stores are going to be in trouble unless there's some way they can like sell physical, like how PlayStation Network or whatever has physical cards to pay for subscriptions. If they can sell those, they can sell a card you can pay cash to then put a code in and get your month of one D&D or whatever it's called. Then yeah, that'll help a little. Yeah, it's weird. It's going to be really weird. And if Wizards isn't going to support them with kind of game night materials and stuff, and that's weird too, because if they cannibalize that by immediately they're going to send stuff like kits and things for D&D game nights to the stores, but all of the materials are like trying to get them to sign up for the virtual tabletop, then yeah. It's going to be vicious. Yeah, because that's what I think. Isn't that what their most recent starter set was? Almost an empty box and just very, very light on the materials. And then inside there's just a code to log into, to subscribe to D&D Beyond. All they did is push people toward.
Sounds right.
Yeah, so it's just like a box with a code in it. So yeah, they'll be moving that direction. All right. Well, this is the last episode of the year, right? The last weekly of 2023. So let's do our final Brinkwatch 2023. Woo!
Honestly, guys like me can't leave soon enough.
Brinkwatch. All right. So yeah, I did put a year on that trailer, so we may use it next year. But I'm second guessing myself. Maybe I'm rethinking this whole idea because I had a really bad experience. I was just happened to Google Kyle and was like trying to find another fun picture or something, a thumbnail that someone had done. And there was a link to his LinkedIn. And so I decided, let's go back and take a look at Kyle's career. How did he come to be the executive producer of Dungeons and Dragons? Well, it's been a long, strange road. So, yeah, Kyle came from video games, and that was surprising. It's like not that surprising. That's looks like that's how Wizards was hiring. D&D is going to become a video game, so let's do a video game. Let's hire video game people. He had some early experience with game writing, so there was some Star Trek license stuff that he worked on. But his and then like everyone drifted through electronic arts when you get into the video games. But his big early career milestone was president of Brentwood Pool and Spa. So Kyle Brink was a jacuzzi salesman, not only the salesman, but an owner, and president of Brentwood's Pool and Spa. So yeah, I can see that. I can see, in the early 2000s trying to sell a very like late 80s, early 90s kind of thing, luxury item to people in Southern California. And the best part in the LinkedIn is the Pool and Spa. He defines as he's not your typical small businessman because he leveraged his extensive corporate training from his years at Electronic Arts to sell jacuzzis. That's beautiful. That is really beautiful. So, yeah, after EA, which is one of the most horrible companies in video games, he drifted through Activision. Well, yeah, of course, of course. Sega, yeah, of course, of course. They just localized things. Was briefly involved in OnLive, which was one of those streaming, like you play it on their machines and they stream you the video, kind of what the cloud gaming and things are now. So this is early days though. So this technology was unproven, and OnLive went, face down. And then he stepped into the wonderful world of kind of internet promotional things. So working with Vigil and all of these like silly internet companies promoting like consumer rewards from like perk.com. So a lot of that kind of stuff. So he's got some experience with monetizing and grifting online, digital coupons and all that nonsense. So hopefully that's going to come into play sometime soon. And more recently, so right before Wizards of the Coast, he worked for the other probably two crappiest game companies around, ArenaNet and NCSoft. So was involved with Guild Wars 2 and kind of how they monetized that, because that went free to play very quickly, and then they did like all their treasure chests became loot boxes, and so he's got a lot of experience with ripping off customers. So that's definitely why they hired him, because it comes a lot from there. And I'm kind of suspicious looking at some of these positions. I think I have people I know that may have crossed paths with him, like while he was in the video game world. So that's pretty funny.
Ooh, get the dirt.
Yeah, I know, and I gotta find out. But so I think through some of our Brinkwatches, we've kind of been mistitling him. So his official title is only executive producer of Dungeons and Dragons, because Wizards has a corporate structure. So he's not a CEO, he's not anything. So he's not even paid that great. And that's the thing that's interesting. So he's definitely so he started off like some of his early stuff was, creative director and he did writing and creativity, and he had that experience. He had that experience that all of those people that want to enter that professional managerial position, that middle manager for life, and just they make this decision. So they're having lunch, coming back from lunch, they're looking at the window and they see the parking lot. And the parking lot is kind of divided into the creatives, the people that actually do the work, and then all of the managers. And the managers have all of the German luxury cars, and now it's probably all the electric cars and everything. And on the other side is like 20-year-old Japanese cars. There's like old Celicas and Camrys with dents and miscolored fenders. And it occurs to him, upon seeing this, that maybe I should step away from the creative side of this industry and move into the managerial. And I think a lot of people have that, because the people that come from come from those useless degrees, they get like English degrees or communications degrees at a university. They don't know what they're going to do with that. And then but they want to do something creative. They try to enter an industry creatively, and then they quickly realize, I was born to be a middle manager. So they probably have like a, blue collar family that scrimped and saved to get them through college. They've got a useless degree, but they implant themselves into this professional managerial position, and just jump ship for their pay raises. But I have a feeling Kyle is one of that ilk.
He's definitely a buy pizza for the team and act like a hero kind of guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and they should have, and they I don't think he was the guy. He doesn't have the charisma, but he probably has the position that's they're willing to sacrifice to go out and apologize for the OGL. So that's why we saw him making his little podcast, route, his little circuit of all the people of color podcasts that he could explain that white guys were the mistake. That's what's wrong with this industry. So he was the person that I think they could that would take the bullet, take one for the team, and but he didn't have to step down. It wasn't bad enough that they actually wanted to. They didn't want his head. They just wanted a weird corporate explanation, and then they were satisfied, I guess.
Yeah, they're saving that for the next scandal.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yes. So I don't know. I think we're aiming a little low. I don't think Kyle is exactly. I mean, what how he handled himself in that apology tour was pretty lame. But I think there's bigger fish. So we'll think about this. We'll see if Brinkwatch makes it into the 2024, and maybe we'll aim a little higher.
Well, I mean, there's the Hasbro guy. What's his name? Like.
Chris something. Everyone's named Chris.
Cox
Yeah, Chris Cox. That's right.
Yeah, that guy's sleaze bag.
Yeah,
he'd be a good one to follow.
Yeah, that's true. Because coming from Microsoft and his training at Microsoft to acquire to kind of the Borg strategy of just assimilate and tear apart all competition. Yeah. So we'll see what happens. And so I think a new target will be obvious once this whole new D&D thing starts happening. We'll find out. And it may even be that technology guy, the other Chris, that is responsible for the kind of the guts and the the monetization strategies and whatever algorithms and everything they're going to use to fleece their customers. That's the guy that seems like is going to be the most to blame. I think he's another Microsoft guy, but he's the software guy. So we'll see who steps up. But yeah, Kyle was much more interesting and much more. I know this guy than I thought. I thought he would be. Looking at his career, I know this fucking guy. Yeah.
So what do you think when he was selling the hot tubs? I'm thinking he was driving like a Miata or maybe even a convertible Corvette.
Yeah.
He might have been wearing a chain.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Hitting on soccer moms to want to get a jacuzzi.
Yeah, I'm sure he had some really tempting offers. He offered to demo many units.
Yeah. Personally oversee the installation.
Yes. Oh man. So I guess though, moving from the dated world of hot tubs to the dated world of pen and paper role play is perfect for him. It's all nostalgia. It's all 80s nostalgia for Kyle. So we'll see. So thank you, Brinkwatch. You've served us well. What a character. It was interesting. Somebody posted a clip from one of the podcasts, and the comments under it were really interesting. They were kind of defending him. He didn't say anything wrong. What's so bad about what he said? Like, okay. Yeah. This weird corporate apology. People fall for that. I mean, it works. That's why they had him do it, because it works. People are like, yeah, he's not a bad guy. Yeah, they're just, they're always thinking about inclusion. That's what they're all about. They're never thinking about the money.
Oh man. People who've never been hurt in their life are like, oh yeah, this is great.
Yeah, right. He means what he says, and he says nothing. But thank you, Kyle, for a year of entertainment. I've enjoyed despising your weird position about what D&D should be as the executive producer of the game, and get better at not sanitizing these games and making them unplayable and actually sell some books. I mean, I think that's going to be the big saving grace for his career next year, is he won't have to sell books anymore. He'll just have to go back to selling subscriptions like he used to do at Vigil.com or whatever. So he'll be right in his wheelhouse. It's like, yeah, right, I got to send some scammy emails out to people to get them to click on links. 50% off. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I want Wizards to pull up and move to a small office building in Scranton, Pennsylvania.
Yes.
And Kyle Brink become part of an office thing.
That would be great. Yeah, a documentary about the inner workings. All right. Well, let's take a look back. Let's look at this year that we're finishing off right now. So 2023 started off. I mean, we're talking about the same things a year ago that we talked about last week. So the first announcement, Amazon in making Warhammer, the deal, was announced, and then it went into motion the very first episode of 2023. They mentioned that. So we're still
Wow.
Still talking about the same thing. And then the one D&D announcement. And so they stepped away from that in the summer, right? I think they said, okay, that's not the real name. So stop talking about it
I
that
remember
way.
that.
Yeah. So very, very strange. And oh yeah, that's right. This was something I completely forgot about for 2023. So did you finish your Dungeon 23 level dungeon, Matt? Or
No.
no?
Not only did I not finish it, I didn't do it.
Right? Yeah, a lot of people committed to that, and I think by February they're like, "Wait, what? Why am I doing this?" Yes, I'm curious if because now is the time to post that. I mean, well, I guess you got a few more days, but now's the time to post that masterpiece, that monster of. It was actually like 250. 200 or 365. Wasn't it a daily thing? Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot of dungeons. So I want to play one of these dungeons. So if anybody finished it, please share it. Yeah.
As much as I love old school RPG stuff, and I never really didn't ever like Mega Dungeons very much. I kind of thought they were boring.
Yes, and a level a day of Mega Dungeon. Yikes. Yeah, and I guess it takes a certain group, and you just kind of want to do that thing. You just want to dungeon crawl and be like, how many kobolds are in this room?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see. So quickly on the heels of one D&D came the hashtag Open D&D. So yeah, the open letter asking, why are you doing this? What the hell is this OGL you're trying to screw us with? And so Basic Fantasy, one of the first people that kind of announced we're excising the OGL from our work was Basic Fantasy. And they did their big book of Basic Fantasy or Basic Roleplay, and totally cut out all OGL, anything that related to D&D and the OGL references. Then we had non-OGL Bundle of Holding came out. Free League quickly announced their 2 licenses. They're licensed to do anything with a Free League property, and then a specific one for Adventures for Dragonbane. Yeah, so it just started to roll. Then Paizo's Orc. The next week, we were talking about Paizo's Orc. Oh, and then also WotC kind of abandoning, or kind of turning on Roll20. Like we saw for a moment there that, yeah, they were, if everything went as planned, if people swallowed the OGL and everything, development of the VTT and everything worked, and their digital plans worked, that Roll20 was going to be one of the casualties of that, because they would just cut off the Dungeon Masters Guild, which they still may do, but the all the stuff that's specifically D&D on DriveThruRPG.
Well, that ties into I don't know if this is at a similar time of the year, but the killing of
Astral, right. That's right, because DriveThru then they partnered with Roll20 and made their PDFs drag and drop, and made all of that stuff work better. And then we found out that Wizards was not interested in working with either of them, and may actually be seeing them as a threat. I think their software planner guy, and probably Chris at the top, the people at the top were saying that, this is just going to be competition. This is a threat. And we have a chance before we get started to kill it. Because if they take away the Dungeon Masters Guild and stuff on DriveThru and stop supporting Roll20, then, they lose their biggest their biggest content. So, interesting. January was just crazy. And then we got the announcement of the Black Flag project that became, it's not a memorable enough name, Tales of the Valiant.
Yeah. So I don't hear much about that at all. I know it had a huge Kickstarter, but since then, I don't see anybody talking about it.
Yeah.
I feel like that one and the new one, the MCDM, terrible name. They're two just like vanilla D&D clone-y kind of. There's no distinction in them, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Tales of Valiant. I never hear anybody talk about that now.
No, yeah, I haven't heard that come up, and I guess maybe they're still in heavy production, but it seems like they should be doing active play testing, active sharing of like early stuff just to keep it in people's minds. Because I couldn't even remember the name. Black Flag is much more memorable. It is. Yeah, they should have stuck with that. But maybe harder to trademark with what's his face still out there as a celebrity. But yeah, so and then we got Bank of America. We got that news that Bank of America downgraded Hasbro WotC. So they were, financially, like people were saying that this is not a good bet. So they became a sell as opposed to a buy. And I think just their rating was somebody at Bank of America, one of their analysts said, not a good. They're not doing things well. So. Yeah, and so and then we got the news of other people like Demiplane, all that Nexus stuff. So the digital platform that I think Paizo chose for Pathfinder and Starfinder was that Nexus platform, which I haven't seen much of. But yeah, those are their digital tools. I guess the equivalent of their D&D Beyond. So hopefully that continued. But yeah. Yeah, it was very quickly. There was a lot of shenanigans, and I guess that powered a lot of the oh my god, D&D, the thumbnails for YouTube for quite a while. I think through most of the summer. Oh, that's right. And then we had they did that weird creators conference thing where they invited YouTubers.
Oh yeah. Did they like sign NDAs or something?
Yeah, and had their corporate messaging like rammed down their throats, and but that was good. You could kind of see coming out of that. You could kind of see, and some of the people that were actually disruptive at that event, because like we want real information. We want these questions answered. Will you answer these questions? And so there was a lot of you get to see like kind of who was really interested in the integrity of the game and like the community, as opposed to just the people that were there for the goodie bag or the cred, for their channel. Yeah. So it was good, and that's when I discovered Indestructible Boy. That was when I first was watching his channel as the kind of the fallout of that convention.
Pre-fall of Indestructible.
Yes, pre-witch hunting artist.
He's on a bit of an apology tour himself.
Yeah. I hope this doesn't hurt his, I think it's Vagabond, his RPG that he's developing himself. I hope this doesn't, because, he did a Kickstarter to support the production of, so basically you just get work in progress PDFs, you're not guaranteed anything, you're just allowing him to work full-time on designing Vagabond, and that was successful. He got like $30,000 or something to do that. So hopefully this doesn't, hurt his support, and he can actually finish his game. We'll see. But yeah, it's just like that witch hunt stuff. I mean, it gets clicks and eyeballs and views and ad revenue, but I think it's very short-sighted, and there's all and I think it's a symptom of what people do on. Or did on the platform formerly known as Twitter, is just want to find find a way to criticize Hasbro, just want to go after them. And we had the announcement there will be no Dark Sun for 5e. Surprise, surprise. Thank God. Can you imagine?
They're not going to butcher like Spelljammer and everything else?
It's just going to be like sandals. It'll be kind of like a beach setting. Everyone will be wearing sandals, and like, it's just like bathing suits, and it's casual, and the halflings won't eat you. And yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Yeah, I can't imagine them trying to sanitize that. But and we got the AMC's Walking Dead universe. That's right. That's how it was promoted to AMC's Walking Dead universe. So Free League announced, crowdfunded, and fulfilled the Walking Dead universe all in 1 year. So yeah.
What month did they announce it in? Probably
February. I think this was the announcement for the crowdfunder. So I think it was February. It looks like from the episode number here.
Yeah, that's a really good turnaround.
Yes, yeah, pretty impressive. Yeah, but I think though too. But I've heard people reviewing that game are saying it's a little half baked. It probably could have needed some more time in the oven. The rule set just doesn't feel that complete, and it's not. And it's basically maybe they just thought, well, we've got our Twilight 2000, we can kind of bolt some zombie mechanic onto that. Yeah, I just heard the criticism of it. It's just not enough. There's not enough game there, and that the starter set itself was pretty unsatisfying. Just like not doesn't feel like a very complete game experience, and not a great introduction.
That's too bad.
Yeah, yeah. But
I don't really care because that property, I didn't understand why they were doing that anyway. But
right.
but I like Free League, so if it's their first big trip up, then it's too bad.
Yeah. So we'll see. And I really wonder. We were talking a little bit before the cast about. I wonder what like the next property that they feel is a good fit for them might be, because gritty sci-fi and kind of sci-fi horror. So I wonder who else has something out there that they might connect to. I think
they're so spread out now that it's kind of like we've said that Twilight 2000 with zombies would be a lot like Walking Dead. I feel like anything they picked up now, if it was like a licensed property, would probably just feel like one of their other games, maybe.
No, that's true. Yeah, that's really true.
They've got an Apocalypse game. They have Coriolis is a good sci-fi game. They have Alien on top of that. Twilight 2000, which is like a low-tech Apocalypse game. And then they've got fantasy covered like 3 or 4 different ways.
Right.
And I don't know. It's tricky.
Yeah, but hopefully, I mean, I think they've got enough. I think that any gamer looking at their kind of catalog could find something that they would enjoy as far as setting, and as long as they liked the Year Zero system, I think they could be satisfied. But I wonder, but I wonder what the temptation will be, because it's probably always happening at these trade shows, Gen Con and stuff. Someone comes up to them and kind of pitches an idea representing a brand. So isn't that funny? Like, so at agencies, talent agencies, brands actually have agents. So like Coca-Cola has a guy that goes around and tries to, find synergy with other brands for Coca-Cola. So that's why you get like, Xbox coupons on the sides of Coke cans and stuff. So I'm sure there's people at Gen Con prowling around with these properties they want to get an RPG made for. Do you want to license this? So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'd like to think Free League just got cornered, by the AMC guy, the Walking Dead guy, and they're just like, oh, okay, we'll do it. Just go away. Yeah, so we'll see. All right. So what stuck out for you? Like, what do you remember most about last year, gaming wise? That was either a positive or a negative thing for the hobby.
Man, I didn't prepare for this.
Just off the top of your head, yeah.
Well, obviously, all the wizard stuff was. That's what comes to mind immediately. All the nonsense. I'm trying to think of a positive one. Well, Dragonbane, right? Was that this year technically?
Yeah. I think they fulfilled it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fulfilled it last year. Yeah.
That was a nice drop, and I love that it seems to have really garnered a decent following.
Yeah.
On their Facebook group, like all the time, there's people like, I'm coming from 5th edition and playing this, and I have some questions, And
great. Oh wow.
That's cool.
Yeah. Oh, very cool. Yeah. Yeah, and they've got that. I was happy to see that official tie-in. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, because we actually got a free month of the adventure subscription for My Mini Factory is collaborating with Titan Forge to do official miniatures for Dragonbane. So they're going to produce STL files, the digital 3D files for miniatures for all of the adventures in that kind of collection that was released with with Dragonbane and also some other supporting materials. So we'll let you know if that's worth getting onto, because just subscribing, you get the 5 miniatures for the pre-gen characters.
I kind of wish. I got to be honest. Like, I'm unfortunately that doesn't do anything for me because I don't have a 3D printer. I'm not planning to buy one anytime soon.
Right.
I don't want to subscribe to any more stuff.
Right.
Like, so I really wish Free League would have they could do that deal. That's fine. But I wish they would have also, and we've arranged to get the miniatures for sale in our store, in our online store,
Yeah, but now that they're complete, like depending on what the terms were, what the contracts were, now that those miniatures are complete, they could be produced. Because now you don't have to go to full tooling for HIPS plastic, like Warhammer style. Now, if you have 3D files of something, you can go right to a master and then the COcast or whatever. So they could do miniatures on a store in a store, provided that all the rights worked out. But yeah, they exist now, and there will be sculpts of all of that. So yeah, that would be nice. And if there's enough outcry for people like, I'm not printing these, how can I get these? Maybe they'll consider making them part of a crowdfunder or something. Because that would be a nice add-on. That would be a really cool add-on for the next Dragonbane thing that they do, the next release. Yeah,
I think we need to bag on GW for this year too, right? I feel like we left them out of the loop a little.
Yeah, there was plenty of kind of miserable Games Workshop stuff, some really disappointing releases. So what did they do this year? So it was Plastic Horus Heresy this year. Well, we finished the year with miniature Horus Heresy with epic scale. So I guess 8 mil Horus Heresy for their kind of fake epic release. And but they did have, I think, Plastic Horus Heresy, and we did get, was that this year, 11th edition? Or was
Kill Team Miguel's saying, yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they're not, what was the was it 40K was 11th this year? Because they're doing, it's like every other year. Maybe it was the pre. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna get I'm not gonna get any information. But now they said that they're on 3-year. So imagine this: like, we're not talking Dungeons and Dragons that's just rules in a book. We're talking miniature lines and this vast lore, and this moving ahead, this really cumbersome universe. And they're going to do 3-year cycles for both Warhammer 40K and Age of Sigmar. 3 years. So that means there's only going to be 1 year where there's not a new thing coming out. And that doesn't include all the box games and specialty games that they're doing. But what was the year for 11th?
That was this year, wasn't it?
Yeah. So let's see. So I'm sorry, 10th. So yeah, 10th was this year. Yeah. So they did, I think, Plastic Horus Heresy, 10th edition, and so that means 2026 we're getting 11th edition. It's insane. Yeah, June of 2023.
It's dumb.
So that's way too fast. So yeah, so next year we get Age of Sigmar, whatever number they're up to. So it's going to be going quickly.
Yeah, what else did they have this year? They had the palette. Not the palette, but the truck, the storage thing.
Right? The guy that was supposed to just dump a bunch of their unsellable stuff in a landfill, and he put it in a storage unit instead, and started offering it to all of the online retailers he could. Yeah, so it's I'm trying to think what other GW stuff.
They did that redirect thing for their site from not Black Library, but right, Forge World. That's right. Forge World.
They swallowed Forge World, and without any notice. They suddenly, and it's really, I think it was a really kind of confusing and stupid thing to do, because their new website, they remade their website completely this year, and it's garbage. and that your account, if you have an order history or anything, it's incomplete. And if you had any credit or vouchers or anything that needed to move over to this, that didn't happen. So they're still working out the bugs, and they already went through Christmas. So if they didn't have it, figured out by then, it's probably never going to get figured out. But so when they launched the new website, Forge World just became part of it. And what they said, I forget their terminology is really stupid now. So they brought everything under Warhammer instead of Games Workshop. It's all like warhammer.com. Mm-hmm. And the website was obviously optimized for mobile games, and they used really garbage photography and stuff. It was really weird. But the kits that are resin, that you have to be careful with, that you don't want to sand them and inhale they're calling it expert. That's right. So all the Forge World stuff just became expert kit, which means you got to know what you're doing, because this material that they're using. So the Finecast and the Forge World resin are now called expert kits on the Warhammer website. Yeah, very strange. But and they also, the other thing that they did is they said, oh well, we only were going to do 8 books, for the Siege of Terra, but now we're going to take the last book and divide it into 3 500-page novels. So the last book is like 1,500 pages, released in 3 parts. So yeah, they did that as well. But
isn't it this year that all the Warhammer Plus nonsense went down too, or no?
Oh, I think that was prior. No, they've been doing it for a couple. Yeah, they've been doing it for a couple of years, and I think it's been 2 years. Maybe they're on their 3rd year for the subscription. But where they wrangled that was a bit ago, where they said cease and desist or come work for us. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Which that never really happened. But and I think they released numbers for that for some reason. I don't know if it was a like an earnings thing, like it was a corporate thing, but I think they released numbers that said they only have like 100,000, 150,000 subscribers. So really, really low for the audience.
And then WotC said, "Hold my beer, we'll make a worse one."
Right. Yes, you want to see. Oh yeah, and that was the thing too. So people's reaction in protest for all of the OGL stuff was to cancel the D&D now, D&D, whatever that's called, the D&D platform, digital platform that WotC had acquired. Right, they bought that off of the creators who were just kind of licensing the rights to it from them. So yeah, they really downplayed that too. I think I think part of Kyle's script was, we may have lost a few subscribers to D&D, whatever it's called, but it's no big deal, no big deal.
And their GW is ending the year with a thoroughly unimpressive preview of that old world stuff.
Oh, right. Yeah. You want some old miniatures? Those old miniatures that everyone was throwing away, 5 years ago or whatever. Well, they're back, and you can buy them for a new improved price. That's the great part, is that you don't have to pay those old nostalgic prices. You can pay the new insanely inflated prices.
And how are you going to open that with the Bretonians? Like,
yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
Everyone expects the Empire. What are you doing?
Right. I think they're just doing stuff that won't interfere with Age of Sigmar. Like, Age of Sigmar, they feel, maybe from their sales numbers, that it's finally kind of catching on. And they promised to do this old world re-release. So they're just going to do it very half-assed, and it's just going to be kind of like filling in the gaps. But they're going to run into like kind of weird stuff, because, some of the factions in old world fantasy are kind of, kind of cultural stereotypes, or kind of, they're going to be a little bit difficult to, not just look like, because it's not going to have any satire or parody to it, so people are just going to be like, this is what the Asian faction, what is this? It's going to they're going to run into some weird stuff if they just dig too deep into Warhammer Fantasy. So that's right, they came up with, and so there's no starter box for the relaunch of the old world, but there are the two factions, Bretonia and the Tomb Kings, and their wonky looking skeletons.
Yeah, the Tomb Kings, who come from like kind of outside what we would call the old world.
Right. Yeah, right.
Like, what the hell? Also, oh my god, did you see the miniatures for the? If these are reprints, I'm not aware because I've played Warhammer in forever. But I think they're called like Death Swarms.
Oh yeah.
They look crappy.
Right. Yeah, I don't think those. I think those are. I think those are new. I'm not sure.
Kind of a tentacle thing with skeletons and stuff hanging on it. It's stupid looking.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Oh, I can't pop up a picture. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I remember seeing that. Yeah, I don't know. It's just going to be just kind of like what they're doing with their Epic release. It's going to be half-assed, and they're not going to support it, and people are going to be really frustrated if you go into it like, oh, great, it's back, let's do this. You're not going to be able to. And the other weird thing they're doing is they're releasing. A book is included, I think, in both of those starter sets, a hardcover rule book. So, but they're also selling that separately. Plus, they're doing like a chaos and order army, 2 army lists for the factions they're supporting. They're doing 2 separate volumes for kind of good guys and bad guys, and then they're doing individual softcover books for each army individually. So there's enough rules to play in the hardcover volumes of the combined basically stat books, army books, combined army books. But then they're selling individual floppy ones, and those are going to be insanely expensive. But those include rules and magic items or artifacts or whatever that aren't going to be in the combined rules. So they're trying to make you buy twice as many books as you would actually need to. And I'm sure it's so minimal. Like what's in there is so minimal. But I don't think the softcover books are enough rules that you can buy that only. I mean, it's possible, but I don't think they're including everything. So it's really silly. They're of course doubling down on making you buy overpriced army books and rule books, just like they've been doing.
I thought of a cool game I got into this year finally.
Oh, yes. What was that?
Stargrave.
Yeah, that's right.
I had a blast with that game.
Nice.
I think we probably played about 7 or 8 missions.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's good.
And that was a lot of fun. Like it got me back into painting again, and a little bit of scenery and stuff, and it was fun.
Nice. Yeah, and you delved into the kind of world of the buying 3D printed models and stuff, and got to see the kind of quality and range of that stuff.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, well, that's cool. Yeah. So that's right. So for Chris and I, it was Oathmark. Yeah, that was the big. I think we played the most. We played the most games of that, and had the biggest armies of that. I think that's the most painting I did for any army in the last year. Was all the Oathmark stuff. Yes, and so now we might be taking might be veering off into Forbidden Psalm or something. I don't know. We'll have to see. Because I still got my Frostgrave dwarfs that are ready to go, and then the dwarves for Oathmark. So we'll see what what we can get into.
I feel like Chris was just starting to kind of make those elves not suck, and then you guys didn't play anymore.
Right. Yeah, we gotta do the next step of that, because I think those spiders and stuff are going to be a big problem for me. But they we'll have to see how that progresses. But but I love those miniatures. I really like the official miniatures for Oathmark that we were using, and the options that they give you, and just how easy it is to put together, to figure out your army list and put together that many ranked troops, and with enough variety, like all of the sprues have enough heads and arm combinations, you can get a really nice looking rank of fantasy miniatures. So I really like that. I don't want to go to the to that the monopose world of whatever they're going to do with whatever Games Workshop is doing. Yeah, but I'm curious too. I really want to support the. That's not coming until next year, but the Warpath miniature, the epic scale. I guess epic Warpath, basically. Yeah, I want to see how they do with it. The factions aren't as compelling in Warpath, and they're not as ingrained, in an interesting lore. But there's some fun stuff. There's the cops. There's the space cops, and then there's I think there's the virus. The guys that are just all viruses. So we'll see. We'll see how they do. But I really want that to actually do well and be interesting in how it differentiates itself.
If it looks halfway decent, I might check that one out too. I was thinking, time is a flat circle, right? We did Blade Runner. We did play that this year, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but we've had a ton of fun playing online. I've enjoyed everything we've done, but that one really hit with me. I really liked that. That game, how they built it to feed the atmosphere, the theme of the game.
Yeah.
And then, getting to play it, had a blast with you guys.
Yeah, definitely. I think that my first look at that book, and maybe even when I did the flip through, I even kind of expressed that as is this enough? Is this going to get me into this? Is this going to be... Actually, no, I don't think I had... I think we played before I had the book. That's right, because we played the case file, the digital version. But my first look at that game, I was like, oh no, is there enough rules here? Is there enough game here? And it's the way that they restricted it, the way they confined how it, what it does is perfect. Yeah, I think they really did by choosing you can only play Blade Runners. This is what you're doing, and emphasizing the moral choices, and really doing a nice job of. We finished up. Let's say we finished up in March, or I finished up editing. That doesn't mean anything about when we played. But yeah, we the first session went up the end of 2022. But yeah, we did play into. I think we played into into this year.
Okay, so it was 2022 partly.
Yes,
okay.
Yes, yeah, kind of some overlap. Yeah, right. It is. It kind of blurs together, especially by the time I get things edited. It could be a whole nother decade. Yeah. Oh yeah. So the little video I made for the timeline setting video I posted right after I made it. So that was July 2022. So I think we played shortly after that. Started. Yeah. But yeah, that was a good game. And case. So looking forward to 2024. Yeah. The case file 2 is ready to go. I got the digital copy. So the only thing I'm going to need to do is spend a day putting the characters into Foundry, because I think it'll be easier to do in Foundry the way that it's set up, and I already have the modules and everything. There's not an official release of that yet for Alchemy or anything, but I think I know Foundry enough that might be the way to post it. And then we'll have our character sheets and everything. So yeah, I'll have to move that. So that means we'll be this will be the third VTT we played Blade Runner on. We just keep moving it around.
I do think though, once at some point you might want to give it a try, or if we do Alien or something. I think Alchemy, the fact that you can have just sort of this scene image and just be doing theater of the mind, and then behind that you can layer a tactical map if you need it, which in Blade Runner doesn't come up that much,
right? No, that's a good
and then
point.
you can focus more on the music and the handouts and those kinds of things.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, let me take a look at because if they already have if they have the character sheets in there, then I think it's probably be an equal amount of work to either do, because I have the assets that I made for Astral, so those can go anywhere basically. But so let me take a look, because you're right. I think that might work best if we have the scene and then handouts, especially because Blade Runner is so handout heavy. That would be nice for you guys to independently be able to look at those anytime. I think that would that might work better. Yeah, yeah, and we've got to get that figured out, the spectator part of it figured out so we can or at least tell spectators where they can watch the live stream. But yeah, live streaming, I think there's something we'll have to figure out, because I don't think we want to rely on their connectivity for our video and audio. That might get rough.
So what else did we play? We played.
Oh, we did the
was Forbidden Lands in 23 or was that 22? Man, it all blurs together.
Yeah, we definitely played. Well, we definitely played Dragonbane.
We played the Dragonbane introductory game, but I had run some Forbidden Lands for you and Will, and then we stopped.
Right, and because we did also did.
And then I did the Knave game.
Knave, yeah,
that was definitely 2023.
Yes.
And it's funny because as much as I was into Knave and I was like feeling that OSR simplicity and everything, like now I'm already gone. I'm like, no, Black Sword Hack is better.
Oh wow! Oh wow! Interesting. Yeah. And you haven't even gotten the official book yet, right? For Knave?
No, they just announced the fulfillment. So,
oh my gosh! Yeah. Oh, Vaesen too. A big chunk of.
Yeah.
That
was easily my second favorite was our Vaesen game.
Yeah.
I feel like we were really grooving with those characters. The adventures were a lot of fun.
Yeah. That was great.
And that's another example of that Year Zero system being tailored to a specific sort of theme.
Right.
They're really good at that. I mean, I guess maybe not Walking Dead, but everything else they're really good at.
Right. Yeah, I should get the audio, just the straight audio for Vaesen up for people to listen to those sessions. Yeah, because that was really fun. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, we had some nice, and it was nice. We've been able to meet regularly throughout the year. So we got, and then Star Trek after Vaesen, then we started our Star Trek campaign. So we got through, like 9 or 10 sessions of that as well.
Burning through those, I don't know. I almost wonder if those missions are too short or something. I don't know.
Right. Well, I think they're kind of intended. Like you can knock them down in a 6-hour session. We never quite had 6 hours, but some of them, and especially depending on the choices that you made, because if you're going to be really thorough and like look at each part of the adventure in each act, then it does take longer. But when you're like, okay, I think we kind of know what's going on here. Let's go right here. You kind of leapfrog part of the adventure. In many cases, and that's just the way, instead of me forcing you, like railroading you into, don't you want to look inside the asteroid? Yeah. But it works okay because I think you get the similar experience. Maybe you miss a combat or you miss like a spooky environment, but the adventure still stays intact. Yeah. Yeah, good stuff. Yeah, and I was surprised. I always wanted, ever since first reviewing Star Trek, I always wanted to do that. I wanted to run it like a weekly thing. And then thank you guys for giving me a chance to do that. I'm not the biggest Star Trek fan, but I like that system. I like that game. And I like that they do weekly episode kind of adventures. That's really cool.
Yeah. There's another. What's the other one? Oh, Dune. Yeah. That's one of the ones.
Yes.
That's one on the list.
Right? Yes. Dune is on the list. Yes. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Well, I want to figure out. We'll talk about what we want to do. Like if you want to play a house or if you want to play kind of independent agents, and how we can do some Dune. Yeah. The books came. I got the from the sale. That Modifius did. I've got all the supporting books, so I've got a lot more rules and details, like how you would play a house, and then how Arrakis works without being the Atreides. Like what you can do on Arrakis. Well, shit is going down. You can do other things. Yeah. Well, the Kwisatz Haderach is being discovered. You can trade in spice. You can smuggle. You can broker information.
Yeah, that is one of those ones where you're playing in a universe that is already played. You
Yeah,
know, like
right.
like playing with Star Wars. It's like,
Right.
oh, we're not the main characters here, guys. We might have some fun and do some cool things, but we're not gonna like affect the universe or anything.
Right. Yeah, it's like being Death Star maintenance officers.
Yeah.
It's like I think your session's going to come to an end, a very bright, flashy end. Yeah.
Independent contractors.
Yes. Right. Yeah, you were just hired. These guys seem cool. I mean, they pay well. Yeah. Yeah. So anything else? What else is on the list? What else? So Black Sword. You want to run some Black Sword? Black Sword hack.
I might do that in real life because I want you to run Dragonbane.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Nice. What else? Oh, Alien.
Oh yeah.
I really like to play some Alien.
Yeah, and those cinematic adventures are very, self-contained. So yeah, those won't stretch out into like months. So that would be good. But we can play like you'll change characters between adventures, but we can play 3 very interesting and very different styles of that cinematic adventure because they did that nice trilogy.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, that'll be fun. Yeah.
I think for me, somewhere in there, I would love to slip in some Traveler.
Oh, okay.
Like, I don't really want it to do it back to back with like Alien or Dune, but somewhere when we've got like maybe after you've run some Dragonbane or something, I'd love to slip in some Traveler.
Nice. Yeah, that would be fun. Nice. Yeah, it's been fun, and I really liked your surprise game at the end of the year. The Deathmatch Island really was a good choice. That was a really fun, so totally different from anything we've been playing, and even mechanically, like it has a very different feel. So it's really, really refreshing and really fun that the group can just like we can handle any kind of style change. That I think that was good.
Yeah, and it's very different than most role playing games, in the fact that you're just every scene is resolved with just a single test, and then you, the players, get to narratively explain what transpired like after the fact.
Yeah,
it's really a unique idea.
Yeah, I think without the reality TV structure, it wouldn't work as well because if you weren't talking about what you did after.
So it's based on a system called Paragon, which I know nothing about other than it's apparently similar system. And that one I think is more of a fantasy thing. And I was thinking like, well, I don't know, for like a long-term like just fantasy game, I don't know if this style is quite what I would want to do, but for this, you're right. It is like it's perfect for this.
Yeah, that would be interesting. It's like, you go into a tavern and what do you make one roll and decide what you do in the tavern. That would be.
Can you imagine that? Like, it's like, well, I'm gonna chat up the bartender and I'm gonna pickpocket this guy. All right, we're all rolling against this one thing.
The danger level of the tavern. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to see how the conclusion of that goes.
Yes.
I'm trying to plant some seeds, and it's going to get down to where you guys are going to have to decide. Like, are we doing this? Are we really going to be last man standing, or are we going to try to break the system? It's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting.
Nice. Yeah. And we've got three very different characters. So I can't wait to see how.
And when you guys added added your second backgrounds, that was hilarious. The barista youth pastor,
right,
and the lawyer sheep farmer.
Yeah.
I don't know if Terry ended up doing a second run or not.
Yeah, I don't think so. No. Just a mysterious past. Yeah, right.
A lot of fun. And then they do give you options like to run it again. They call it Deathmatch Plus.
Oh, wow.
and it's going in either as your character that survived or as someone who has somehow obtained knowledge about what's going on
Oh, okay. So you have
like from your character,
right? Oh, cool.
So you're going in to try to just tear it all down, kind of thing.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
like that might be fun. I think I'd want to put it on the shelf for 6 months or so, and then maybe we come back and try that.
Yeah. That does sound fun with like already knowledge of. It's not a mystery. You kind of know you have a much different objective. Yeah.
Yeah. Then it becomes more like late seasons of Lost or something.
Yeah. Right.
You're trying to thwart the island.
Yes. Another miniatures game from this year was Argatoria. So Spellcrow sent us 2 starter armies, for Argatoria. So mine are primed. We're ready to paint, but Chris went off in that whole crazy 6mm, even smaller 3mm, I think, with a couple of different games. We'll definitely get to that. Once we're back on schedule, because I really want to run through that game, and I like the army building and everything. And Spellcrow was so kind to send us those. We got to show them some love.
Yeah, they look pretty nice. Was it like Saurians and something else?
Yeah, so like barbarians versus lizardmen. Yeah, basically. Yeah. So I think that'll be a nice, and visually it will look nice. So I can't wait to see it all set up. And Chris has no excuse. She's got the hobby area now. Like there's actually a table to paint stuff. So we got to get that done.
And there was that other miniature game, the Kickstarter. The Mutant Chronicles one. What was it?
Oh yeah, Warzone Eternal.
Warzone.
That's right. They came back. Yeah, their second attempt was much more successful. So I didn't order any miniatures from that campaign. I thought about it and I'm like, so I just went for the book, which is a little tiny softcover book. Not going to be great. And I think they did a collection of fiction as well. So I was curious about that. So I got a physical copy of that. But Miguel has got some miniatures coming. Yeah, Miguel's got some miniatures coming. I thought I'd just wait and see. I've got a ton of Warzone, a ton of miniatures for Warzone. So I just want to take a look at the rules and see if it's even worth playing, because like once you're invested, just on the brand, if I totally went in and it didn't have a great rule system, I guess I could play them with previous editions, but I wasn't. And also the look, what they came back with, I think working with those guys that did the Cyberpunk miniatures game, but they got that one studio that kind of does the chunky modular miniatures. They looked better, but they weren't. I wasn't in love with. That style is just okay. It's a little cartoony and like chunky in a not a 90s way. So it's okay. So I wasn't blown away by the miniatures. Some of them were fun to see, like a revised version, and some of the original sculpts, the Heartbreaker sculpts, were pretty silly. But these were kind of a little standardized and sterilized, not as much as their first attempt. So we'll see. Yeah, I don't know if we're gonna get any games of Warzone, and we will definitely get games of Chronopia in, because I've got a ton of miniatures coming for Chronopia once they fulfill.
Orcus said his 2024 most wanted is Pendragon.
Oh yeah,
I kind of want to see that. I'm curious. I played that like as in high school when I could not appreciate what they were trying to do with that game, with the kind of the morality and the clash of cultures and the lineages, like the whole idea is like you play generations of characters, and like I was too young to appreciate that at the time.
Yeah, the starter set is out. You can get that now, but we'll see when the full release. Very cool.
I was going to tell you, the company that makes that Terminator game that we were talking about.
Nightfall.
Nightfall. Did you know they make a Musketeers versus Cthulhu game?
No way. I may have seen that title.
That one.
I may have seen that title.
It's literally 3 Musketeers fighting Cthulhu.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah, I'll have to take a look at that. Yeah, I've got the Slay Industries book coming because I was always curious about those rules. But yeah, it's literally called Musketeers versus Cthulhu.
Yeah.
I thought for sure it would have some funny cryptic name. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, that looks like a good time.
I heard that Slay Industries is a little on the crunchy side, so I'm curious.
Yeah,
you get it, hear what it's like.
Right. Yeah, this is the second edition, so I'm not sure how big the changes were. But it's been around for a while, so yeah, it may be from a crunchier generation. Yeah, and it's UK. Yeah, it's a UK studio. So yeah, that's great.
Yeah. And I think they're using a BRP system for that one too, which
that's cool. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, good choice.
Easy to get into. Like, I feel bad, like, we've been playing with Terry, and because he hasn't role played in for so long, and he's coming from some very old systems that, like, we're just throwing all these different systems at him.
Yeah, right.
I'm always thinking about, like, okay, well, BRP has got to be, it's hands down one of the easiest ones to teach people, right? It's literally like, see that percentage? You got to roll that or less. You're done.
Yes. And tick that box because you were successful. So,
yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. No, that would be cool. Yeah, we we should make some time for Musketeers versus Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. That's too funny.
Maybe I'll order it in the new year.
Okay, cool. Excellent. Yeah. So what? Yeah. So that's right. Oh, and all the new TSR. Yeah, I forgot about the. I think it was kind of winding down by the middle of last year. Yeah, Wizards of the Coast sued them, and kind of backed them down.
And we haven't got to do the As the Gygax Turns bumper.
Right. I know. Somebody in that family has to start embarrassing themselves again. Yeah.
Oh, that reminds me. I started listening to I had an extra credit on Audible, and there's a bunch of books on there that are like, how to be a better game master. And I hadn't heard of any of the people that wrote any of them. But then I saw Robin D. Laws wrote one.
Oh,
I was like, all right, what the heck? I'll give it a try. It's very dated.
Right.
I don't know when it was written, but it's very dated.
That's
Yeah, he basically, like, at one point he's writing, what did he call it? He said RPGs are like fantasy shopping for guys. He went on to explain, is like, well, guys don't like to shop, but this is a way to, like, you shop for superpowers. And okay,
he was a big
so much wrong with what you're saying right now. And then what's best is after he finishes his thought, he's like, now I know that some guys probably do like to shop, and there are some women starting to come into the hobby,
Ouch.
But nevertheless, and then he never finishes that after the nevertheless. It's just like,
wow,
dude, time to update this book or something.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Well, did he cite Sinbad's stand-up career as one of his inspirations? Women be shopping as as one of his...
Women be shopping.
Man, don't you hate when? Oh my gosh, that's really funny. Yeah, I was getting a couple of recommendations. I think a couple of the YouTuber channels were. I'm totally. But a lot of people are talking about there is a great advice for GM books out there. I don't think it's got an audiobook because I think it's a lot of, like, technical discussion and stuff that would probably be impossible to listen to as an audiobook. But there's a recent recommendation for, and it's got a really wonky title too, so it was even hard to find on Amazon. But yeah, a book that's being recommended. And it's I think a blogger YouTuber that was is pretty well respected. Let me just take a quick look. See, nothing like killing the momentum here. Oh yeah, here it is. So you want to be a game master. Everything you need to start your tabletop adventure for Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, and other systems. So Justin Alexander. So I think he does that Alexandrian. There's he's got a blog and a podcast. But yeah, so that's gotten a lot of press lately.
I think and a different perspective, right? Mm-hmm. These things can be really valuable for new GMs, I think. But I think for older gamers or people that have played for a long time, I really feel like you could just sum it up with, have fun and don't be an asshole.
Yeah, right.
Almost all you need to say.
No, that's true.
Remember that you're part of a group, and everyone gets a chance, and everyone should be involved, and don't be a jackass. And that should be about it,
Right. Yeah. At this point, if you've played enough, you're not gonna. Yeah, there's not gonna be any big revelations in any books of how to be. Yeah, that's your.
I really enjoy those Seth Gorkowski videos where he talks about, types of problem gamers and stuff. That they're amusing, but I think the entire catalog of those could almost be eliminated if you just did one video about not being a dick.
Right. Yes, right. Yeah, that's true. Pull your head out of your own ass for a minute and think about what's going on with people around you. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I wonder what that's going to, because people get there, it's just kind of like so I think, and especially I think this metaphor is much more apt in the 80s, when it was basically like learning how to be a DM was basically like learning about sex. People would tell you stuff, but you didn't know until you're actually there kind of how stuff works, and the information was not correct, and it had to be kind of taught. It was like this oral tradition of getting some bits and pieces from various places, and I think now we have the pornography of Critical Role that's teaching people how to run a game session with amazing voice acting and all kinds of prepared an amazingly prepared table and things. So yeah, they're getting a false sense of what it's all about. So yeah, I think that metaphor works.
It totally works. Yeah. Critical Role is kind of like the porn of game mastering. It's not real. Yeah.
It's just done for the cameras.
Yeah.
Nobody really enjoys it that much.
It might, but it's a lot messier.
Yeah, right. Yes. I think that's it's a funny thing, and the companies are trying to predict this, especially the bigger companies like Wizards of the Coast are trying to predict how to capture this new audience, and they're just going to do it by making them pay for every little stupid thing. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so what else? So no Dark Sun, the Orc. Yeah, we got the full release because we had drafts by the middle of last year. I guess spring of last year we had drafts, and now we got Final Orc. Final Tales of the Valiant was kickstarted last year. Oh, Conan, that's right. Modifius lost the Conan license.
Yeah, that'll be a 2024 we'll be looking for.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Because
it's the board game people.
Yeah, is it Monolith? Mythic?
Monolith. Mythic.
Yeah. The French studio. Yeah, right. So they've got the rights now. Yeah. Wow.
Unless I hear really bad things, I'm probably going to buy at least the core book.
Right.
I'm going to need to know if it's any good.
Right. Yeah. I from what they did with the board game and kind of the flavor text in their rule books and stuff, I think they've got a good handle on it. So, and they're not going to have the cred, because I think Modifius went all the way in and said, we worked with the Robert E. Howard estate, and we got this is as true as you're going to get. So I don't think they're going to have that cred, but I think they've got a good handle on the character.
they're going to have a really good base to market to because of how big that Kickstarter was for them.
Yeah.
Though.
Yeah.
So when it's time for this one, they're going to be able to tell a whole lot of people, "Hey, this is coming."
You've already got a lot of miniatures for Conan.
Yeah, so. 2 giant boxes of them that I haven't touched.
Right. Sorry, I didn't mean to reopen that wound. Oh, that's right. And we got Mirrorscape. So the VTT market or field of VTTs got a little bit more crowded. So we had a lot of people announcing stuff that's only going to be on mobile devices and.
Oh, is that the AR one?
Yeah, right. So yeah, Mirrorscape. Yeah, you point your device at the table and you see a dungeon fall from the ceiling or rise up from the table, and it's amazing. But these are the guys that did all the licensing, so they did digital assets of Dwarven Forge and Reaper miniatures and stuff. So there's kind of a 1-to-1, like you can take your real world set and put it, make it digital, which is. I don't know how compelling that is, but yeah, I was getting spam from them about Christmas sales and stuff. They were having packages of tavern tiles and stuff that they were trying to sell. So they're trying to do it. We'll see how successful they are, but they're forging ahead in the and I guess we're going to see a lot of shake out of the of tabletop once D&D really gets up and going with whatever this thing will be. Oh, yeah. And we had Candela Obscura.
Oh, yeah, that was quite recent.
Yeah,
really.
Right. Yeah, they were. Yeah, and finally that released. Yeah, that those physical books came out, and people just looked at it and said, "What the hell are you?" So an unsuccessful first release for Darrington Press. I would say I don't think anybody had anything good to say about that system, and we're going to be looking forward to Daggerheart, right? The D12, yeah, their fantasy setting, that D12 system, yeah. So that'll be fun, won't it? Yes.
And that's a very different system from the Candela one, right?
Oh yeah, I think it is, yeah, because Candela was basically Blades in the Dark with a little. Yeah, lightning,
wimpified Blades. Yeah,
right. With some odd little like point systems and stuff bolted on. So yeah, we'll see what Daggerheart is, and that will be a real missed opportunity because Critical Role should have hooked up with really good designers to make their system that was gonna, just put D&D in its place, basically. Like D&D would have the history and the cred, but like the new generation of gamers would be playing this, and they just didn't do it. They just wimped out with that first release. So yeah, we'll see.
Well, yeah, and it was like, go back to that porn reference. It was like watching that. I watched the first episode, and it was like, if you were going for porn, you got softcore.
Yeah.
Like, what is this vanilla crap?
Right. Yeah. You got Cinemax. Is that Cinemax feature there? It's like there's a lot of things I don't care about going on here. Yeah. That's a good. Yeah. Well, we're gonna milk that metaphor. Yeah. But another promising thing, like we mentioned, Warzone Eternal is. They closed middle of December this year. They closed their pledge manager, so that stuff's coming. And the campaign was this year. Luna City Blues. So the designer for Cthulhu is going to do a Mutant Chronicles investigation based. Right. Yeah, like a Luna City.
That's on the list. You have to run that one.
Oh,
too.
yeah. I really did. So I'm going to try to get an interview too before that gets too much further, and find out kind of where they are with that. Because that would be that's great. That's really great, especially after reading all the Mutant Chronicles audiobook stuff. Yeah, I'd love a setting like that. I got all the voices down, so I'm good to go.
So Cthulhu, that's the one you interviewed the guy on the show, right?
Right. Yeah. So it was originally.
Did they ever put that in English or no?
There's not an official. There's not an official English because the publisher that he works for, both I think in Sweden and in Japan, they have deals with Chaosium, so they don't want to release it in English because it might cause some trouble with their deal to publish Call of Cthulhu in Japanese and in Swedish. Yeah, so there's a little bit of a difficulty. So if he could find someone else that's kind of like a publisher in America that's not tied up with Chaosium, then he would be able to get it published. But there is an English version. I have seen an English version.
Oh, really?
But there's no official publication just because of those kind of problems with people's contracts. They might be competing with themselves or with Chaosium.
I hate that. It's like, give the people what they want.
I know that stuff is tricky.
Same with the people that are kickstarting. There's the people that are kickstarting. What's it called? Arab Altor, which is like sort of the original world for Dragonbane,
right?
Or Drakkar Deminar. They're not doing English. Literally, they're finally kind of getting browbeat into saying, well, maybe if we make enough money,
right,
we'll do an English one. But I'm just like, this is like the oldest world for this game, which right now has no world, right? Dragonbane literally got issued as a thing to put in your own world.
Right.
And this has like, what, 30, 40 years of rich background.
Right.
And they're going to take it to Kickstarter. It's like, there's an English language audience that would buy this up.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, I wonder why they wouldn't do that. And maybe they just I mean, when you think about that, like, produce it in Swedish, you're only shipping to Sweden. There's a lot less involved in running a campaign like that. So yeah, it's like, but if we open up to English, that literally opens it up to the world, and like, changes the whole scale of the project. Yeah, so that's interesting. But you could do it digitally. Come on, just give us some PDFs. You don't have to put them on a boat.
I also wonder if like Free League's content to just skate on how Dragonbane is now. Like, we'll do adventures for it.
Yeah, right.
Maybe a bestiary or something.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's right. They did a pre-order for the bestiary.
But we're not going to do world building for it.
Right.
And I wonder if they're content to just skate on that because they have so many other projects.
Right. I wonder, and if they have a really active, if people are using that license a lot for the adventures, like creating settings and adventures for it, maybe they won't see it as something they need to do. But I think, I wonder if it'd be difficult to get the rights. If somebody else is already doing it in Swedish, I wonder if it would be difficult for them. Because there's like 3 settings,
If you do end up running some Dragonbane for us, which I hope you do, you think you would just sort of make it episodical and not get into the world stuff, world building too much? Or
from just the little bit that I've looked at the adventures, it's always kind of hearkening back to the age, the dragon knight, kind of dragon lord age. There's references to that. So yeah, I'd want to build that. I'd want to have that, something that you guys could pursue or, have some opinions about and not have it just be this vague background. So yeah, I'm curious. I'd probably want to, and it would depend on, so the adventures seem pretty episodic. It seems like Vaesen very much, you're kind of like, oh, you're asked to do this, you're asked to do that. It brings you to this part of the lands of the Misty Vale. And but I would like to flesh things out, and we'll see what kind of support they're giving it. I wonder, because if there is going to be an official setting, it would be fun to know that ahead of time. So we'll see. And actually, Swedish is not. It doesn't, get choked by machine translation the same way that Japanese or Chinese to English does. So we could probably, with some of those materials, do our own. Pretty. I could get an idea of what the setting was.
I'm sure you could get the old Arab Altor PDFs or something.
Right. Or even do the digital pledge digital for the new version, for the Swedish version, and then see what they're doing. Yeah, but that would be really fun. I'd love to do that. And I also like Chronopia as a setting. I think that's a really messed up setting, so that would be fun to do with Dragonbane as well.
Okay, cool.
So we'll see. Yeah.
Yeah, I know almost nothing about Chronopia. So.
Oh, cool. Cool. Yeah, that'd be fun. So anything else? Let's take a quick look. I'm just looking at the our little tags and headlines throughout the year. It's just AI kept coming up again and again.
Oh yeah, a lot of AI art.
Oh, stuff. Those guys that did the Everyday Heroes system. Oh, I think that was like Evil Genius. It wasn't it. Everyday Heroes, and then they did the licensed movies for Highlander and everything. Those are already on clearance. Like Miniature Market had a sale.
No.
They're already like $8 a piece. So I don't think they sold very well. I think that was a mistake to go. I think it makes more sense to really care for one setting and go all in and say this is the RPG for Highlander, instead of just going source book for all your favorite movies, and basically it's a movie poster with the rules, with some names in it and some stats, and play this with the Everyday Hero system. But I don't think they're doing well, because already the same year that it was released, they're already kind of getting rid of it. I don't know for sure, though. Let us know in the comments if you're a big Everyday Heroes fan. And towards the end, so in the last few months, we had the Deck of Many Things kind of recall or reprint, because they totally screwed up. So they... I didn't hear. I don't think they did. They didn't get them out by Christmas. The rerun, the second production run of those. I don't think they got them out to Amazon and stuff. So be careful if you're ordering that now. I don't think the replacements have gone out. So it's probably people that hung on to the badly printed, the misprinted versions, and are going to try to sell sell that stock, because that was all supposed to be destroyed, I'm sure.
Yeah, so let's like okay. Was Spelljammer in 23 or was that 22?
No, Spelljammer was this year, yeah.
So Spelljammer went over like a lead balloon.
Yeah. Yes.
The redo thing. And then they said they weren't going to do Dark Sun. And then everyone seemed to be very underwhelmed by Planescape.
Yeah, right.
And then they have this Deck of Many Things thing where the cards were all messed up. But wasn't that after also they messed up a bunch of commander decks for Magic or something?
Yeah, they had problems printing Magic. Yep.
Hands down, the worst year Wizards of the Coast has ever had, I would imagine.
Yeah, and right before, while they're gearing up for this 50th anniversary of D&D. Oh, sorry, Spelljammer was last year, 2022. It came out in August.
Okay.
Yeah, but Planescape was, and that's when they started. Jeremy Crawford and a lot of the people started talking about the multiverse of D&D. It's always been a multiverse, and we're going to mash it all together. And so probably getting ready for the digital, say there's no excuse. You have no excuse not to try all of these different adventures, because it's a multiverse. Yeah, that's right. So Spelljammer with no ship combat rules. Yeah, that was the beginning, the harbinger of what was to come, I think, for 5e fans. Yeah, the releases. Let's see if we can get. Well, there's not a good, just a good list of stuff. But let's do 5e releases for this year and see what we get. Yeah, it's been really bad, and they were saying, I think someone leaked financials, or was showing a that's right, the numbers for the big chain bookstores, like the big bookstore numbers came out, and it was this steep decline in sales. The three core books when they came out 10 years ago, had decent numbers, had the millions, and then now they're just basically dealing with tens of thousands, if that, for some of these releases. Yeah, Phandelver and below, The Bigsby's Glory of the Bigsby presents the Glory of the Giants had the first AI art scandal.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the keys from the Golden Vault, and Planescape and Book of Many Things. Yeah,
I feel like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm a little out of the loop with D&D in its present state, but I feel like they never just do like a traditional adventure module anymore. Like you never can get just a nice little self-contained adventure module that will only last you 1 or 2 sessions, and then you can play another one,
right.
If they wanted to sell books, which I don't think they do,
yeah, I think they've given that.
They should just not sweat the core book sales, because those are, once you buy your core book, you have it. But make old school modules, like just, on a good schedule of regular releases, just make modules.
Yeah, I wonder why that's not a thing. Why it always has to be, and there's an adventure. So we're introducing the dragon, and there's new dragonkin, and then there's an adventure you can play in this new dragon world with your new dragon.
Yeah, everything's a box set or an over-the-top hardback book, and let's make a little module.
Yeah,
have some fun.
Yeah, I wonder why not. Yeah.
Have to spend too much money on the sensitivity readers or something.
Right. Yeah, are they? Yeah, because a lot of the stuff is just kind of rehashing or just kind of embellishing stuff that already exists. I wonder if they just think like third parties have that covered, and we'll just do bigger stuff. I don't know.
It could be. In which case, like once they do go all online, they're not going to release any, like their content's probably going to really drop. Like, it'll just be microtransaction stuff.
Yeah, if you subscribe, we'll give you a cool new magic item and a cool new subclass, and I'm really curious, and they don't know what they're doing. Even though all these Microsoft execs have told Hasbro that they know how to do this, they don't know how to deal with this audience. So it'll be interesting. Yeah, but I think there's big pallets of these books, all these 2023 books sitting in warehouses, so none of this went anywhere.
I think we should all make big predictions by the end of this year type predictions for 2020.
Oh.
So Abyss and Miguel, they're still in the chat. They should do this too.
Okay.
I predict Hasbro sells WotC.
Oh. Yeah, that's a good one. Let's see. I predict that this first version of the tabletop will be basically shuttered, and they'll do like a 2.0 release. Like they'll botch it so bad that they're going to say, okay, wait, that was just our first idea, but we got this idea, and they're going to do like a 2.0 by the end of the year. To try to.
Will it be out by the end of the year, or they'll just announce it?
I think they'll just announce it. I think they'll shutter, like whatever this first VTT will go down by the end of the year, because people will just be so frustrated with it that they're going to have to retool everything. It'll be like a Final Fantasy 14 style, like, okay, back to the drawing board. Let's try this again.
I think you're onto something, and I think your prediction could dovetail into my prediction.
Yeah.
Quite nicely.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Miguel says, yes. D&D going to be turned into Monopoly Risk theme type of game.
Right. Yeah, they got so much success with Monopoly Go. D&D Go is coming up next. Yeah. Nice.
Abyss is going to predict that they ban elves.
Right. Yes. I like Miguel saying the sensitivity readers told them that short adventures are problematic because short. That's ableist. That's very ableist.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Oh, I can't. Yeah, character skins and stuff, and like, if you want access to paint your miniature in the for digital, in the digital thing. I wonder if they're going to avoid even calling it a VTT. I wonder if they're going to, come up with another name just so people don't have expectations.
Mm-hmm. It's Kyle Brink Abyss to answer your question.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe it'll be the Dungeons and Dragons experience, and then they can put that X big.
Oh yeah, right. The X, right? Yeah. I wonder if Kyle's head is probably on the chopping block if this goes badly. I think we'll see a change of guard.
He's gonna be, he's gonna be in like Kansas City selling used jacuzzis or something.
Oh, a business prediction is great. Kyle Brink gets Me Too'd.
Oh.
Yes, he was at a convention. There was this tiefling, very sexy tiefling cosplayer. He was his hug lingered a little long, and Kyle Brink is Me Too'd. That would be hysterical.
Yeah. It'll be all over TikTok and Instagram. Like, he kept asking me to go back to the jacuzzi with him. And I said no.
He said he had special experience with that kind of. Oh man, yeah. I love the fact that a jacuzzi salesman, but not only a salesman, but an owner of a jacuzzi business, is the executive producer of D&D. That's just perfect.
Yeah, you missed all that, Abyss. You missed all the earlier dirt about Kyle.
Yes.
Well, not really dirt, but just characterizes him perfectly.
Right. Yeah, his wonderful work history. Oh man. Yeah, I can't believe people. Yeah, that's just out there because you can figure out what kind of person you're dealing with pretty quickly by looking at that kind of series of jobs. And there's I think a lot of people that are like that, the way that they jump ship every couple of years for a pay increase. And there's probably, especially in like digital entertainment and technology, there's a lot of headhunters out there that are, contacting you and trying to, find you a new position because they get such a big finder's fee. But there's a lot of people that have really interesting resumes where it's just like an annual, salary boost, but they're also at a different company.
Mm-hmm.
That's very America.
Well, and at the executive level, it's a racket too. Like, they get their golden parachute.
Mm-hmm.
They will get recommended, no matter how that went down. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like there's no consequences for people in those kinds of jobs.
Right. Oh yeah, because even on like how people handle their LinkedIn, they say I was responsible. This was my project. This was my baby. We did. I was completely handled this whole thing, and they don't say and it was a complete financial failure and almost bankrupt the company. Like you don't hear any of that. Yeah. So. Yeah, that's true. It's only what your responsibilities were that take you into the next your next set of mistakes. It's that failing upward thing. Yeah, it's definitely it's built to hide your incompetence. Nice. Oh, Miguel says also Hasbro will have a Sony Discovery moment where when they take away stuff people bought. Yes, right. With the excuse that it was just a license. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's already that just happened. I think with Sony's media platform, like on PlayStation, I think you could buy movies and stuff. I think that's all gone.
Yeah, they did it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Really bad.
Yeah, you said. Oh.
Like, I'm in total agreement. I hope this doesn't trigger anything on YouTube, but like when it becomes impossible to own something, piracy kind of becomes an obligation.
Right. Well, it's Chris, that's something Chris says every time that comes up, that if they make it impossible and if you paid for something that they took away from you, come on. You're gonna get that digital that digital media back somehow. Yeah, it's really it was interesting. There was a list of this is not tabletop related, but complete sideline. But you mentioned torrenting and digital downloads. Disney is starting to people aren't even pirating Disney content anymore. It's so bad. So they're dropping
Willow TV series,
right? So like the like torrenting, the top torrenting lists. It's a lot of Apple Plus and stuff. Apple TV, Apple Plus stuff. But Disney is like dropping off of the list, so they can't even make stuff people want to steal anymore. That's how bad some of their content is.
Yeah, it was 2024 was not a great year for genre entertainment. That's for sure.
Yeah. This past year. Yeah, is Silo getting a second season? Yeah, they're doing okay.
Oh, speaking of, have you watched Murder at the End of the World?
I have not. No.
Yeah.
Oh, don't. Okay. Thank you for sparing me that.
I can tell you how it ends if you want. And yeah, no.
Somebody dies and it's the end of the world. Oh,
so it's a cool. The premise is a cool idea. It's a murder mystery that kind of unfolds, and they weave these flashbacks in, and it's all around this evil kind of Elon Musk sort of guy. And it could have been good, but it has the most ham-fisted writing. Like, people just spewing exposition, and there's unnecessary love triangles and
wow.
It was just, I watched the whole thing with my wife, and it was my fault. I said, "Hey, I want to watch this," and by the end of it, we're like, "No, that was good." So watch out for that one.
Oh wow. Well, thank you. Yeah, I appreciate those warnings because even like Rebel Moon, I was just like, wow, everyone's just going to talk about who they are. They're not going to actually do anything. Yeah.
And I can't. Part of it is Netflix's fault, right? Near as I can tell, Netflix forced them to split it up, and because they want to get people returning to view the second part,
right?
But even so, the writing in that was not good. Like the exposition was only appeared when it absolutely had to at the last possible second.
Right.
Oh, by the way, this is why I hate you, and now I betray you. What? So stupid.
Right.
And don't even get me started on the weird hyperspace vagina.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they haven't even talked about. So, does that mean that somebody at Evil Geniuses had to write a whole page about the hyperspace technology that creates a vaginal shaped hole in the space time in the fabric of space time?
I think
they just
freaking what's his name was sitting there with his CGI people or his art director and like, dude, let's make it look like a vagina. It's like so childish.
Right. Yeah, whenever Zack Snyder is a really bad does really bad commentary for his movies because he like tips his hands so much, and it's like everything starts with we thought it would be cool if we thought it would be cool to. I'm like, oh really? Yeah, definitely a little bit different from Scorsese or listen to anybody else talk about their art. It's like, it'd be really cool. Yeah, we thought this would be the cool. Okay, that's why you did it. We got it.
Rings of whatever returns in 20. Don't threaten me, Miguel.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they shot even like they went right back into production. Like even because I think they didn't have to deal with writer's strike or actor strike or anything for that. So. Because there's no acting or writing involved in that show.
I'm going to give Fallout a chance. I hope Fallout doesn't get screwed up too bad.
Yeah, right. Oh, that's right. Shot. And they recast Sauron. Yeah, the new actor.
Oh, they did. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's Indian, South Asian actor. So yeah, Bollywood Sauron, as Miguel says. Oh man. Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and I kind of feel bad for Warwick Davis because I've seen these art interviews where he's like really mad that Disney pulled the Willow series off of the service.
Yeah.
but I feel bad because I'm like, it wasn't good, right?
I hope so. Yeah, I hope he had. Yeah, I don't know though. I mean, actors, what they see of a production is so. The day to day of a production is so different. But you got to, by the things they're saying and like in the script, what they can kind of get an overview of what's happening to this with the story and the characters. They must know, right? Yeah.
I feel like it was by this point, as long as it's been released, you probably saw it and knew what it, Yeah.
Yeah, but that has to be so. I mean, and yeah, for everybody involved in that has to be so frustrating to be like, well, yeah, this is a credit I have now, but there's no way to see this. It's impossible to actually see. So for my reel, I'm just going to put deleted from streaming service. It's just this little card.
Like everything people did for that D&D TV channel. Nobody can see that.
That's right. What if we made an ad-supported streaming service that nobody could find? That's right. That's another one of Wizards' weird failures this year. Is they produce those shows for probably millions. That producing those episodes probably cost them millions of dollars, and they're never going to have an audience. Yeah, they're just going to have to release them on YouTube or something for people to actually, if they want people to see them, and then tell people where these actually are playing regularly.
I wonder there's probably people that have already thrown it up on YouTube unofficially.
Right. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's probably out there.
I don't want to do that to my algorithm. I'll have to log out.
Right. Yeah, so anything else for the year? Yeah, so this is kind of a casual review of the year. I didn't have a lot of points that I wanted to touch on. Just wanted to kind of take a look at some of the headlines. Yeah, but we're already, by the time we're doing some of the...
What's a good show or movie you saw this year, like that you really thought was good?
I'm not minding this the most recent season of Fargo. It's not finished yet, but that's not bad. And it's current times too. It's 2019 that it takes place. The setting of it. So that's different. But yeah, I like how that show is done. And it's funny because it's always making references to the movie. They always have these little scenes or things that they set up that are specifically callbacks to the first movie. And they go with that gimmick that the story is based on actual events. The names have been changed, but the events, and that's never been true. The studio even asked the brothers, so this really happened? They're like, oh no, and they said, but you say that. It's like, oh, did we? Oh yeah, we should probably change that. They specifically said, but I really like how that because the events of those seasons, are very wild, kind of crazy events that like, wow, what if this happened? And the fact that they're saying, no, this actually did happen, changes how you look at it. Like it makes you take it more seriously. And there's something very funny about that. Just like with Texas Chainsaw and stuff like that. Texas Chainsaw Massacre, you're like, oh my God, this really happened?
Those are real people.
Yeah. So it kind of changes how you view it. I think it's a funny gimmick that, always kind of pulls me in.
Miguel and Abyss stole two of mine, Severance and Godzilla minus. I assume he means Godzilla minus one.
Mm-hmm.
That was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, that was good.
And I really enjoyed Severance too.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that.
Silo was pretty good. I had fun with Silo.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Disney stuff.
Yeah, there wasn't. Yeah, there wasn't anything that wasn't excruciating on Disney.
They got to be reeling. I feel like they're in the same boat as WotC. Like they're gonna have to. They don't know where they're to go now. Like what do we do?
Yeah, that's really true. And it just doesn't. It doesn't make any sense. There's something going on that nobody really knows about. Because if you think about the kind of losses that they've been experiencing in these major releases, if that happened in the 70s or 80s, one of those would have killed the whole studio. So how can they have a whole year of like, $500 million in loss, from production costs? How can they have that and it not, be threatening the existence of that studio?
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, and now, the guy who took over Warner / HBO / everything in the world,
Yeah, right.
and screwed up HBO really bad.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's talking about buying Paramount, which is
like
losing money, is hemorrhaging money.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, what do these guys do?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. But I guess that Disney is so large now that I don't know. They're making it up somewhere. What they fail to do in the individual films, they make up in volume. Yeah, I don't know. It's a very very strange time we live in, because I don't think anybody knows how the money works now. It's just like, we can always just go back to China for more funding. I don't know. What are they doing?
Yeah, I don't no one understands how to make money as streaming yet.
Mm-hmm.
And there was that funny thing that just happened. So this counts for this year, technically.
Oh, okay.
Paramount gave up on that kids Star Trek show.
Oh, yeah.
And then Netflix scooped it up.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And it became like the top viewed kids program on Netflix.
Right.
So they're all just throwing darts at boards, they don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm surprised too that Netflix even touched Star Trek, because they got so burnt on Discovery. They got so they paid for the early they paid for production on early seasons of that and totally got burnt on the viewers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but then they do Strange New Worlds, which everyone seems to love.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah, and Paramount's also doing those exclusive South Park movies, right? They're doing the specials, South Park specials that are only on Paramount Plus. So, yeah, I don't know. It's weird, and it is. I wonder how much longer this streaming thing, this scam is going to go on, because everybody knows they're not making money, and that came up, with the actor strike and everything. It's just like, well, we can't say that there's no money to share with you, because then our investors will know that streaming is no good. So we're just going to keep this secret and try to hide these numbers. Yeah, it's very, very odd, but obviously something that. The way that they're allowed to hide their numbers and that it doesn't matter, it's all subscription based, does obviously let some kind of financial shenanigans go on, because they shouldn't be just hemorrhaging like this for so long.
Well, and for some of them, it's a different thing, right? For the Warner Brothers giant, they have their fingers in lots of pies.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Disney, but for Netflix, this is all Netflix does.
Mm-hmm,
so. Are they making money or not?
Yeah.
If they're not, how are they still around?
Yeah, I think Netflix. That's the only. I've heard that Netflix is the only streaming platform that does make a profit. I don't know if it's a decent profit, but they do cover their nut, and they moved to that. They moved away from that insane licensing fee for a lot of content to doing their own original stuff. Most of their original stuff is just terrible, so it's a shame that they spend money on that, but at least they have a thing. Like if they stopped licensing any movies, they would have a thing. And I wonder if they're just trying to stick it out long enough, especially like Netflix, sticking it out long enough to just kind of dominate Hollywood production. Just so between Amazon, Apple, and Netflix, that's where a lot of the production is coming from, and to kind of put old Hollywood or the Hollywood system in its place and just have this weird digital studio production thing that dominates, because they're already winning Oscars and things. So I don't know.
Well, they were. I mean, that was kind of what brought on these strikes, was those big streamers were trying to recreate sort of the old Hollywood system where actors were basically indentured servants on contracts, you know. But then, and the writers were just, you know, scum and easily replaceable. And then they just added the extra bit of all this AI nonsense and, you know, scanning their likenesses and stuff.
Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. They're going on about how problematic Godzilla is because he's not vegan. He should be vegan.
He's not vegan. He's not pink.
Right. Yeah, I like that they didn't do the Jurassic Park thing where they had Godzilla eating people. He just kind of scooped them up and threw them, you know, with his mouth. Yeah, I'm glad that they didn't have like Godzilla, like consuming people. He just crushes them and vaporizes them. Yeah.
Oh, because especially once he was full grown, right? It's
yeah. Right. Yeah, that'd be a little difficult.
Little bugs,
right? Yeah, but that was so. What did you think about the reveal? Was that was an interesting way to first show Godzilla, just like that spotlight, and then there's this thing on the beach.
Oh, I thought it was cool.
Yeah. Because it was
funny. Like, my mind was going, "Oh, it's not a full size Godzilla. What's going on?" And like, oh, and then they did the whole what was it, Bikini Atoll nuclear test, and like, oh, we made Godzilla big. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I like that. I liked how they did that, and it was much more. Yeah, that movie was just handled really well. I'm glad Toho finally figured out a way to make a Godzilla movie instead. I
enjoyed it, and okay, I love the old Godzilla movies, but they spend a lot of time in those movies with no Godzilla.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of following the kid around and the dad who's a scientist or whatever. There's a whole lot of time in those movies where there's no Godzilla. And this one had interesting characters, kind of funny characters, but they gave you the Godzilla too. You know, they gave. It wasn't a whole lot of dead time.
Yeah, that's true.
And I love that they kind of had, like, I don't know if it's a trope, but like to me it's a trope of the anime kind of eccentric scientist guy. And they had one of those.
Right.
I was like, yeah, all right.
Yes. Yeah, that was the interesting thing, and I'm so surprised that it's doing well in America because it's a very Japanese film. Like, you know, the characters are not, the acting style is not naturalistic. It's very melodramatic. You know, when people are sad, they're so sad, and when people are happy, they're so happy. It's like, you know, way over the top. As far as acting, not very naturalistic. And with just subtitles, I really wondered how that would play in the U.S. But I think people get it, and especially because anime is like it's so permeated, you know, pop culture, that people understand that style. Yeah.
And honestly, when I went and saw it in the theater, I didn't know. I half expected it to be dubbed, and I was like, I really hope it's not dubbed.
Right.
And it wasn't. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Yeah. And think about how that cut the budget of the international release. You know, just subtitles is so much cheaper than having to, you know, to do a whole recording session, so they could get it out there and get it making money, you know, and kind of get it out of the way of the American releases. And yeah, that was really good. Good stuff. Yeah. So what a crazy year. And it's just, I can't believe we're headed into the 50th anniversary year, and D&D's going to have to
Year of the Dragon.
Yeah, Year of the Dragon. They're going to have to turn stuff around. Yeah, what is all of the Zodiac have a meaning? They kind of have, you know, like your horoscope. It kind of has a personality. So if you're born in that year, you kind of have that personality. So good luck. It's good luck, strength, and health. It's the yang. The male yang is the dragon. So let's see. They seek perfection. I don't think Wizards of the Coast is going to seek any perfection this year. They're just going to try to get it done. Seem passive in love, but are usually the ones who give more and gain less. Generous and self-disciplined. I don't know any dragons like that. But yeah, so we'll we'll see what they do. Yeah, I don't think we need to do it because we're recording remotely. We don't have to do any 30-second wait or anything for sound removal, so we could just make one long podcast.
Yeah.
There's no reason to break it up. So we went from kind of listing points to just kind of discussing everything going on in 2023. So yeah. So we've got Blade Runner. I think Blade Runner to look forward to early in 2024. And yeah, I think that'll be
Dragonbane
and Dragonbane, yeah, and some Dune. I really, once the assets come out for Alchemy, Dune on Alchemy, I really want to try that because there's some great art in those books, and I think that'll be a fun system because it'll be a little bit more abstracted than and less pulp than John Carter. But yeah, you guys will have the basics. Nice.
Yeah, it'll be very, very narrative, right? Very character, just driven. Probably. Yeah. I think that will be fun, and I hope there's some good material to go through. Miguel said he read that some Japanese companies are doing away with translators. Yeah, I think Japan has a lot of hope in AI translation and stuff because the people that I know that their work is translation are already kind of dealing with that. Like your job is going to go from you're not going to translate anymore. You're just going to edit AI translation, like edit machine translation. So that's what I was thinking. It's like you may not translate, but you're still going to need people quality checking that stuff.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, you have to have people but it's like that's really hard because when the machine translation is done poorly, you can't you'd have to almost go back and rewrite so much of it or retranslate so much of it. So it's I think that job is actually going to be harder than just a pure translation job, is like fixing machines problems, because you'll have to start learning like what it doesn't know and looking for that thing in text. Yeah, it's going to be weird. Yeah, right. Yeah, I've heard a few people that work as translators that are saying that the companies are looking really hard at automating as much of that process as possible, just to speed it up. But still, I think Japanese and English, it's really, really difficult. There's a few like simple travel apps and things that do an okay job of translating very daily, conversational. How much does this cost? Can I get this, in red or whatever? That is very natural and very readable on both ends, like, software-based translation. But once you get subtle or once you get like movie dialogue or whatever, there's just no way that it's going to, that machines are going to be able to do the job.
And there's going to be colloquial things that aren't really translatable. So there's got to be someone who can go, oh, well, I think what we want to do is replace this with this English phrase,
Yeah.
which is give you kind of the same idea, but isn't really the same thing.
Right. Yeah, that's going to be weird if they do rely too much on machine translation. You're going to have a totally different feel from watching, films or reading manga or whatever. They're going to lose a lot. It's going to be weird. I like the some of the early translations, I forget what it's, maybe like Viz or some of the early manga translators would actually do that, would actually do footnotes and would actually say this is a cultural thing. Like she's calling him brother. We translated it as brother, but actually it's just a term of what you say to a person that's, a little bit older than you, but kind of your same, another kid in the neighborhood, but he's got a little bit of status above you, so you're calling him brother or uncle. You call a man uncle, but he's not your uncle. He's not your brother. So yeah.
when I read the Three Body Problem, that's a Chinese book, and the translator did a great job of that.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
the footnotes about cultural references and stuff.
Yeah. He's really good. The guy that the kind of the big Chinese translator that does a lot of the sci-fi stuff. He's a writer too, so that helps a lot, I think. Kind of understanding what to do. I didn't like. He did an introduction to an anthology of Chinese science fiction, and I loved the anthology, but his introduction was a little arrogant and a little like, you don't know, you stupid non-Chinese, you have no idea. And I'm like, okay, tone it down a little bit. I mean, just it's like we're not all ants, we're not all these insignificant non-Chinese things in the world. Yeah, I think you're just yeah. Oh,
this is asking you a question about Japan. It looks like.
Oh, Japanese question. Does it have the same level of insanity when it comes to cannabis? Oh, yeah. It's whatever. It's cocaine and marijuana are in the same like schedule as far as felony level or whatever. Yeah, I don't think they had a little bit of trouble with the that stuff, the kind of synthetic and simulated stuff got into Japan like 20 years ago or whatever, and they had trouble kind of getting rid of that because Japan had mushrooms, had like kind of magic mushrooms were legal up until right before I came here, so up until 2010 or whatever. Oh, really? Yeah, you could buy them just in the the herbal stores, and they were actually hallucinatory. They were shrooms. You could just buy shrooms in a store, so they got rid of those. But yeah, no, the penalties are really high. And so mostly, most of your dealers here are going to probably be foreigners because they're the ones like willing to take the risk. I don't think a lot of Japanese, and even like small, even like Molly and stuff, like club drugs, they really use those. Like anytime a celebrity is caught using those, or anytime a company wants to get rid of a celebrity, they talk about their drug use, and so that's looked on so negatively here that it really hurts people's reputations and stuff.
Where do you think? I'm trying to think culturally where that comes from. Is that like a post World War II imposition of American morals, or is that something that came out of Buddhism? Like, where is that coming from?
Oh no, I think it's probably imposed by like Britain, like in the Reconstruction by Britain and America to have really strict drug laws, because Japan is basically surrounded by all of the opium and hash and everything in the world that you could possibly ever want. Like Asia is just full of it. So right. I think it was just to protect, because I don't think if there was a lot of like heavy recreational drug use like during the Restoration, I don't think there would have been the Japanese miracle, because the businessmen would have been like, nah, it's cool, man. I don't need to rebuild my house. We don't need to be
opium dealer.
Right. Yeah.
What is this saying about a famous Korean actor committing? I think he meant seppuku. But he wrote Sudoku.
He committed Sudoku. Oh my god. He got all rows in the. Oh yeah, I'm not sure. I know that. Oh wow. I'm not sure about because I know there's been both Korean celebrities and Japanese celebrities. There's been social media suicides. Oh, sorry, that's not a YouTuber. Social media unliving events. You can't say the S word in YouTube. We're gonna get dinged for that, I'm sure. You can't. That's happened. There's been a few really big examples, like reality show contestants and stuff that have just been harassed on social media and then have unlived themselves.
Wow.
Yes. It's likes to use Sudoku. Yeah. I keep listening to podcasts or like YouTube that says you can't say the S word. So basically the system on YouTube is they're just looking at the transcript. They're looking for bad words in the transcript, and if you say some things too often, then you get that yellow ineligible for monetization. But this whole discussion is ineligible for monetization, isn't it?
Yeah, we might have gone off the rails. same with prostitution, but I thought Japan had sort of legal prostitution in a way.
It's a gray, it's a weird market. Both gambling and prostitution, you can do them. They're not legal. You can be arrested for them. But if you go through the correct loophole, then you're kind of, so like slots and pachinko here, you don't get, so you have your winnings. You turn your little metal balls in, or your whatever the slot machines give you, and they give you a box of crackers or some chocolate or some cigarettes. And that's your prize that you've won for your, for this fun activity.
Store, right?
Right. Yeah. You leave the premises, you leave the business premises of the gambling parlor, and you stick these boxes that perfectly fit in these holes in these buildings, and then they hand you money. So the exchange of the goods into cash cannot happen on the premises. So that's the legal loophole to, make money gambling.
Don't those I forgot what they're called. They're in that show I like, Tokyo Vice. That got renewed, by the way. Those, what do they call those, like hospitality clubs?
Just hostess clubs or kabakura?
Yeah.
Clubs,
yeah. Those kind of lead to prostitution sometimes, or
they can. I think it's like you're just encouraged to take care of the customers, and it does, especially the foreign ones, like the foreign hostess clubs, I think are basically, that's what the guys are there for. But it's got a weird like range of stuff, because like a guy has his girl at this club and he takes care of her. And in old school, like the old school way, you actually had, I forget what they were called, but if you knew you had a really good customer, you had to provide this service where you would meet him like outside his work or apartment and go with him to the club. That was like an extra service that they provided. But basically nothing happens on premises for any of that stuff. It's all has to be. So yeah, they left. They're not working anymore, and we don't know where they went or what money exchanged hands or what they're doing, but it didn't happen here. So this is not a business of prostitution. It may be matchmaking for prostitution, but we don't. So I think if they're not. That's not on the menu. That's not discussed, but it's implied. And a lot of the home visit, there's a thing called delivery health here, and they call it health because it's therapeutic. It's for your health. It's massage or whatever it is, but it's basically prostitution. But you don't discuss anything. It might happen. It possibly could happen, but it's not part of the service. Yeah, so it's a really weird thing, and so basically, you probably that Tokyo Vice covered that pretty well. It's like they're just unenforced laws, but at any time the police, if they've got a business or somebody they want to go after, they can use those laws to shut them down or hurt their income or whatever. So they're selectively enforced, and just when they decide we need a big public arrest, or we need to punish this guy who owns a lot of gambling establishments or whatever.
That in that show that there's a lot of time spent in this one hostess club where it's, most of the girls are like European.
Yeah. Kind of the show pub stuff. Yeah. And that is pretty much, directly. And they know it too. And those, all of the girls working there are just ready to scram anytime. They're ready to make a run for it.
It was interesting. Like that's a really cool show. I'm glad it got renewed because it's based on something, a real kind of based on a true story.
Oh, nice.
It takes place in the early 90s. So
that's cool.
There's a lot of this stuff with the Yakuza because they're still on top, I guess, at that point.
Right. Yeah, that's still bubble Japan. Yeah, before you get to like 94, 95, where the economy collapses and everything. So that's still Japan was, like China, like China is now number 2 economy, had more money than they knew what to do with, bought the Empire State Building. Yeah, that's like that Japan. So that's cool. Yeah. I think that's on Disney Plus now in Japan.
Really?
Tokyo Vice. Yeah. It's weird. The stuff
that's so funny that works because Disney here would never put that show on.
Right. Yeah, it's very random. Yeah, I saw that they I guess the Echo series is, mature, has some, violence rating or something. So if you have your default Disney Plus settings in America, you can't even see that show exists. Like it's invisible. So you have to change your parental settings on your Disney Plus account to see certain content. Yeah.
Because I have I'm a grown up in my settings or whatever.
Right.
I have to put a little PIN number in when I go on there.
That's so silly. I guess, they just don't want to be accused of. Disney can't be accused of showing anything to kids. Oh, yeah. Abyss is asking. Yeah. There's the paid date. That's existed ever since like cell phones existed. The paid dating in Japan. And that's the thing that, like, having a daughter here, I don't know how much she's had to deal with that yet, but that's a real... And there's been girls in her school that have been caught like showing off on social media that they've gotten money, big money from just like having coffee with old men. But a paid dating thing where it's similar to like the hostess thing. The guy says, "Oh, I just want to, buy you an ice cream and sit with you and just like do like a girlfriendy kind of thing, like walk around with me and do that." And of course they want more, and they're going to pay you for more, but they'll pull you in with like, "Yeah, I'll give you $100 if you just sit here and eat an ice cream, while we talk." And so women get harassed, because the school uniforms are very standard here. You can tell how old somebody is, how old a girl is, if she's anything up to 15, anything up to 18, based on the school uniform she's wearing. So these guys go after girls that way, soliciting them. Yeah, basically just these scumbags after their office job will be walking around and hitting on girls to just go with them to do something. And at first it's innocent, but who knows?
I don't know how you do it, man. Like, are you allowed to own a shotgun in Japan?
No, right? That's all swords. Yeah, you just have to go after them with your sword. Yeah, it's brutal, but it's weird because it's become it's a nuisance thing. Like there's such pests, but it's just like, if you've got a lot of flies or mosquitoes in your country, you just have to get used to doing this. It's a weird thing that women in Japan tolerate. Yeah, but they're not aggressive. Like they're usually pretty harmless because they're just like they're doing the numbers. They're playing the numbers game. They ask 100 girls and one of them knows. One of them knows that racket, or one of them wants a new bag or something. So they'll eventually hit on one, but it's a real weird nuisance thing. Yeah, but papakatsu is what they call it now. Yeah, like sugar daddy. Yeah, basically. Crazy.
Papakatsu?
Yes.
like tonkatsu?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the katsu meaning is like a meal. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like a dish. Let's see. The kanji for katsu is always let's see. Yeah. Yeah, katsudo is abstract. So it's yeah. So what are they trying to? Yeah, kind of casual papa. Yeah, not your real father, but
your side daddy kind of thing.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah, So it does mean it's the same kind of idea as sugar daddy, just not your biological father. Yeah. Yikes. Yeah.
Boy, we've gone down a weird hole.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, this is usually with a cartoon podcast. Yeah, it turns into when I finish drawing my cartoon. So yeah, it turns into the dark culture in Japan, the underside of Japanese daily life. Yes. So, but yes, tabletop. You would never play that at tabletop. Are we going to figure out how to role play mechanics for a hostess club?
Ugh.
Nice. You got to wear them down.
There's that deck building game that's all Japanese maids.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I forgot what it was called.
Right.
A buddy of mine once wanted to buy it for a long time. Like, dude, don't buy that. You're officially a pervert if you buy it.
Right. Yeah. There's a lot of tabletop stuff that's never going to see translation because it's that level of like, it's just a bunch of, underage girls that are half battleship or half horse or whatever. Yeah. And those things, those all get games. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and a lot of the card games too have a lot of like really questionable art on them. A lot of the real popular trading card games here. I don't know any. I've heard. This is all secondhand information. I have no firsthand experience. Yes, right. Yeah. So I think that's the rule. That's rule 35 in Japan. The Japanese rule: if there is a perverted anime, there is a card game or RPG of it. Yes, the media always produces that.
They're like uber nerds in Japan who are like, well, actually, in the manga version,
right? Oh yeah.
She's a seahorse.
Yeah, I can't even imagine the level of like weird nerd criticism on like Japanese YouTube and Japanese social media of stuff. It has to be impossible to, just you'll never make them happy. There's just like unsatisfiable nerds here. Yeah, because everyone's kind of allowed to have be their own kind of fan of this, of their favorite like idol singer or of their favorite anime or whatever. They do their own weird thing about it, so it's much less social, I think, than in other fandoms. Yeah, crazy. All right, yeah, we've talked about what we want to see, what we saw, the horrors. That's how we should have started. That's how we should have started this, is with Marlon Brando at the end of Apocalypse Now. The horror. Yes. Yeah, so I'm looking forward to. Well, I can't believe this is going to be one hell of a year. This might actually be the end of the world. We've got an American presidential election, and they're trying to make D&D a subscription service all in the same year. What's gonna?
Don't cross the stream, man.
That's way too much. Too much for any one American to handle. Yeah, it's gonna be weird. Yeah, and I wonder how the economics are gonna go. I bet I'm. You could be right. You could be. They may end up having to spin off. Hasbro's gonna say, "Yeah, we can't do this hot potato." And spin off.
I figure if their stocks keep taking hits, they're going to do something drastic. And then if this goes into what you predicted, where the VTT flops, all that money they invested in it, that's going to create a reaction by Hasbro.
Right.
I think. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, I just don't know what. Yeah, I don't know what to hope for. What would actually be a better result? Yeah, because I think getting away, because that was my second idea after following Kyle for a whole year. I think cheerleading the Hasbro releasing Dungeons and Dragons would be a good thing, especially after seeing the movie. The Dungeons and Dragons movie said Hasbro's Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah,
that is insane. We should never have seen anything like that.
Power play.
Yeah, the Hasbro universe of movies. And
when you consider all the other schlock that came out, the D&D movie was pretty harmless and okay.
Yeah.
And I think it didn't do too great, right? But that coupled with WotC's bumblingness probably means there's just never going to be another one.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah, I think if they do another one, they're going to spend less money on it. They're going to have to get rid of the shapeshifter.
Yeah, they'll spend less money, and then it'll become more like those direct-to-video ones.
Right. Yeah, because if they get the stars back and then just cut the CG budget, they would probably do them. But yeah,
is Jeremy Irons still alive? They dig his corpse up.
That would be. That would be so great if they brought him back for a D&D movie as another character. Oh, that would be the best. I bet he wouldn't do it. I bet everybody around him says, don't you do it. Don't. He'd have to have a serious financial crisis in his life to consider that. But that would be great. And then you would, realize that the people doing this had a sense of humor, that there was some... that they know what people are thinking. Oh wow, yeah. I think it'll be interesting. I don't think it's going to turn out how anyone has expected on either side, either complete failure or a huge success. I think.
Another prediction.
Oh yes,
the orc is going to have no impact on anything. I honestly think it's trivial. The whole orc thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't see it having any like effect, positive or negative, on pretty much like anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's true, because there's so many publishers that have pledged, to make their, what their new stuff available on it. But yeah, I wonder.
Yeah, they will, but I don't see how it is anything different than a company on their own making their own SRD or whatever you call it.
Right.
Like, I don't see it as, it was like a reaction to the stupid stuff WotC was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's not like they formed a powerful trade union or anything.
Right.
I don't think it's really going to have an impact overall on much.
Yeah, that's not bad. That makes sense. Yeah, especially because it's just kind of meant. I think you're right. It was meant as kind of like, this is how you should have done it. This is how it's done. But do we really need it? Is it really that necessary? If you have independent companies able to do their own sort of agreements, you have Creative Commons. So I don't know. It's it was a huge response, and I think Paizo probably saw that opportunity the same way that they Pathfinder was the response to them moving away from 3.5. They're like, this is our opportunity to say we're the ones that know how to do these sorts of things.
Right. Yeah, it makes them look good.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't see like it'll have a dramatic financial effect on anything.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. It could be wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, we better wrap.
Oh.
Abyss is getting into some social economic.
Oh no. Yeah, this is 3 hours. All right, our first 3 hour stream. Oh my God. So and there's no real way to end this. So let's end it here, and then I'll shorten it and put this same ending on the shorter version, because we usually do 30-minute podcasts. So I don't think a 3 hour episode is not going to fly. So, where can people find you, Matt?
I am on Threads and Instagram. It's at Hargald, HAARGALD. And not this coming Friday, but the following one, we'll be picking up our big finale for the Deathmatch Island here on the stream.
Yes, so tune in. Yeah, tune into that. If you've been following along, we're on our second island and heading for our third, possibly, if we survive. Excellent.
How about you?
And I'm still doing my single panel gag cartoon. So if you go to Abusecartoons on YouTube or Twitch, I draw that on stream. You can read that at gocomics.com/domesticabuse and just Abusecartoons on all social media. And if you like what we're doing here and you've listened to this entire thing, please consider becoming a weekling. So on patreon.com/upturntable, you can become a patron at the weekling level or at any level, and tell us what you like to see, support the kind of content that you like us producing, whether it's the audiobooks, the actual plays, the lore videos, the long rambling news updates and look backs on previous years in gaming. anything. And upturntable.com is the website for all of that stuff. And you can also become a member on YouTube. So hit the join button below the YouTube video and become a member there, where you get access to that same content. The audio for this goes onto the RSS feed for the Patreon. So that's the one Patreon exclusive that can't be duplicated, is the audio feed. And also that's where some actual play audio and things go as well. So thank you for joining us, and we'll do this again next week in the new year. So thanks, Matt, for helping me bridge this holiday gap. It was nice to talk with you about all this stuff.
You bet, man. It was fun.
Yeah,
fun year, great year.
Yeah. It was a fun year of gaming. We played some fun stuff, had some good sessions. So take care, everyone, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye. Bye. All right, so that'll be our ending, and I'll wrap it up. I'll put that at the end of a reasonable length of a podcast, and so thanks everybody for watching, and Miguel, and Abyss, and Orcus. Sorry, I think we tired out Orcus. We went long, but thank you so much for joining us, and we'll do this again next week. So take care, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Thanks, guys.
Okay, bye-bye.